All right, everybody, welcome to the FTW podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. My name is Harrison, and with us tonight is the return, the triumphant return of Joe. Say hello, Joe.
For only 1 week only, it's me. It's me. It's JTC.
And Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
Lee is also with us. Say hello, Lee.
Cool, blimey, mate.
And Scott is joining us as well. Say hello, Scott.
Joe finally let me out of his closet.
And Garvin is manning the boards. Tonight is episode number 137 and is coming to you live on October 23rd, 2012. And tonight we're doing basically a special double feature of the show. We're going to be previewing Hell in a Cell tonight. We won't be recording a separate discussion just for the pay-per-view as we usually do. So we're going to be putting all of our thoughts and predictions in tonight's talk, as well as the rest of the week that was in WWE and TNA. But if you're new, check out theftwpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved in tonight's show, as well as upcoming discussions. You can reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook. All those links and information is listed right there, ftwpodcast.com. But first thing, before we dive into the shows proper, we're going to just dip a toe into the draft. For those guys who are not aware of the draft, you can check out ftwdraft.com. For everyone involved, this is where it stands as of right now. Your Week 10 leaderboard update is Team Listeners have 426.5 points, whereas Team FTW, that's us, everyone, is knocking on 5 Bills, sitting at 498. So 2 more points, guys, and we're breaking 500. Top 5 is Lee still having his, basically cementing his lead point with 117 points.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, yuck it up until the playoffs when that's wiped away. At Radio Influence is at 80.5. Mike at 75 points. But here's the thing that just blows your mind. Joe, you have just been on a tear, and you are now in 4th place with 72.5 points. I mean, that is...
I believe I actually slid down. I was in 3rd at one point.
Well, no, yeah, okay. Well, okay, you've been. I gotta say, you've been on a meteoric rise for about the past 3 weeks, but Mike and Radio Influence took a big jump. You took a jump, but they took a bigger jump going in this week. And Diva Jill is at 72 points. I'm sorry, 72 points. We're going to die. And Diva Jill is saying that Lee is slowing down in his points. 1st place is a possibility, and if Lee doesn't like it, he can choke on a spotted dick. Because that's a thing where you are, right?
King Ralph reference. Way to go.
You
Props
suck.
Props to Diva Jill for that one.
Just a quick correction, Joe. The highest placement that you've had was 4th.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? I thought he was higher than Mike at one point.
No,
All right.
he's not that good.
All right. Yeah, the only person who could be on top of Mike is you, Lee. All right, Rob. Impact. This is the first Impact. This was the first Impact after Bound for Glory. Last week, we spent an hour on Bound for Glory. Just an hour on that pay-per-view, and you were not on it. I am really sorry.
Yeah. You guys should be.
Don't worry, I'll
really
make
should
up
be.
for it by making sure I take at least an hour to do
Just
Impact this week.
Just 2 hours. You're going to take...
It shouldn't take 5 minutes because it was crap. Carry on.
Well, no, just the idea that you're going to take
Lee,
an hour of Impact
Just
and only...
piss on my parade, why don't you?
It's
All
my
right.
job.
So, Rob, really, it's the show after Bound for Glory. Here's the follow-up. Here's the follow-through to Bound for Glory. Do you think the TNA played it well?
Not as well as they could have, and not as well as they have been doing past weeks. As much as I really hate to agree with Lee, he was right. This week's Impact was kind of a letdown.
All right. First off, I want to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship implications. Hogan announcing that Anderson, Storm, and Bully are in line for a title shot, and he's going to book Angle. I mean, he basically booked for the 4th guy for the title shot. Here's the thing, though. I mean, Bully's got a title shot. I mean, or James Storm, and I mean, you know, is it really moot? Because who's really going to lose to Hart? I mean, how is Hardy going to drop the title within, you know, a few weeks, in basically 2 weeks? And how does Austin Aries fit into all this?
All of those are good questions. First of all, given the fact that Hardy brought his dumbass, stupid title, customized title back, I don't think he's going to lose it in his first defense. Which means whether it's Bully Ray or James Storm that gets the title shot, it's irrelevant because they're not going to win. I imagine they're going to have Austin Aries. They're going to build up like the rematch probably for the next pay-per-view. I would expect Austin Aries and Jeff Hardy too. Now that they've got Austin Aries going really hard on being heel, that's kind of how I see things shaping up.
Yeah, Chet's kind of agreeing. I mean, Chet's basically saying that Austin Aries spitting on the Jeff Hardy TNA title was the best moment. Everything else was good. Yeah. It was on basically, and everyone's kind of saying they're willing. It seems like everybody recognizes this was kind of a crap show, but they're willing to give it a pass because of, Chet saying, blame it on pay-per-view fatigue. I mean, all the lead up and everything build up to Bound for Glory in Phoenix. That's a lot of energy they put into it. And now that they're done,
right.
You can kind of give them a coast for a week, right?
And they traveled. I mean, they went all the way to Arizona, which is a region that TNA's never been in before. And then, coming back to Orlando, getting set up. Yeah, I'll give them a pass this week for, just being worn out from the pay-per-view.
Okay. Here's one question. This is me personally, and I'm going to kick some questions from everybody else. ODB defeats Tara 4 days after she wins the title.
Yeah, I'm seriously thinking about trading to get ODB. Oh, wait a minute. ODB isn't available, is she?
No, but I mean, think about that. I mean, ODB comes out and basically and beats the champ. I mean, right after the pay-per-view. I mean, where do you see that? I mean, do you think that was a mistake? Do you think that how can you really build Tara as a solid champion? I mean, what do you think about that?
It's one of those developments on Impact that left me scratching my head, to be honest. You've got ODB beating Tara, and you have Miss Tessmacher watching with like a smile on her face. Okay, what? So you can't beat Tara, so you've got to run and have ODB do it for you? Ooh, that proves you deserve the belt. And out of all of the talent that TNA could have pulled out to challenge and defeat Tara, they've got much better women wrestlers than ODB. I have no idea what the hell TNA is thinking.
I think ODB's
unless they're eventually angling for kind of like an intergender match, ODB and Eric Young against Tara and her boyfriend.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, but it just seems strange that they would have ODB get over on Tara at that moment. All right, so two questions from the friends of the show. Greg said, does TNA not realize that these title belts make the company look incredibly amateurish? With the Jeff Hardy title belt. I mean, do you think that kind of kills any kind of prestige that the heavyweight belt really has?
Yes, I do. The belt looks like a fucking child's toy, seriously.
It looks like purple Kool-Aid regurgitated. I mean,
Thank you,
so
Scott.
bad looking. I remember what that looks like. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
It when I look at that belt, I don't see a world title. I see an abomination, really.
Toy at Toys R Us. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Austin smoking skull belt, and I'm sorry if anybody liked that, but to me that's fucking stupid.
Right.
Joe, your opinion now no longer counts.
It damages the prestige of the belt. Your TNA is sending the message that Jeff Hardy is more important than their title. And call me a traditionalist, I don't believe any one wrestler should be more important than the world title of their fed. You call it the world title for a reason. It means you're the best in the world.
Okay, that's a fair point. Now, as far as the last thing that I want to talk about before we move on, aces and eights. I mean, they make the big reveal on the Bound for Glory. Hey, scoff all you want. It wasn't Hornswoggle.
This is true.
Yeah.
It was just...
What?
But
was
it
that
was
a hand? Is that what you're pissed about? That it wasn't a hand?
I can't believe they went with a Sting and Devon main event. So.
All right. Well, anyway, I mean, this is where so aces and eights now. We have Devon. I mean, Rob, do you think that they're kind of like slow playing this storyline, or do you think that this is one of those things where Devon was the big reveal? Now we got to coast for a bit and kind of let that stew.
I think they intend to let it stew and get as much life out of Devon as they can. But, it's like I said when we discussed this a while earlier and we were wondering about like Joseph Park's evidence and we were discussing and I said it then, I don't think TNA knows what they're doing what the next part is. The more I watch Aces and Eights, that's the more I get. The more I get that TNA really doesn't have a plan. They're making this up as they go along. Maybe they're watching episodes of Sons of Anarchy and like, ooh, that's a good idea. Let's add that in.
Well, I do want to put Chet saying, to be honest, now I can't get behind changing the strap color for personalization, but not the file. Well, we'll get back to it in a second. Now, as far as Aces and Eights, though, Rob, Turning Point's coming up, and they have basically Aces and Eights are the poster for that pay-per-view. So do you think that maybe this whole tease of who's leading the thing or everything, you think that they're kind of they're slow burning into that? Or do you think that, it's just one of those things where, like you're saying, they have no idea what they're doing and they're just coasting as long as they can on this?
I think it's, the more I see things unfold with this Aces and Eights storyline, the more I get the feeling that they really don't have a plan, that they're kind of doing this on the fly and are just kind of making shit up as they go along. It's been working for them so far, but they've got to start coming up with a plan because you can't just coast for weeks and weeks on end without just treading water. You need to give the fans something else, something more than just the same old, same old.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. I want to bring up a couple things from the chat before we move on. Chat regarding the Jeff Hardy title, saying, to be honest, it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, look at Steve Austin, Edge, Cena, The Rock with the Brahma Bull title on WWE.com. They all have had their own titles.
And they all sucked.
Okay. They also say they can get behind changing the strap color for personalization, but not the plates. I like that idea, actually.
Didn't Ultimate Warrior, wasn't he the one who kind of started that trend back in WWE? Because I remember at different pay-per-views, he'd come out and there was a different leather on it, at least.
I believe so. I want to say it went back to that. And it was, the plate stayed the same, but yeah, the leather changed, so it had that personalization to it. Jeff Hardy's TNA belt is TNA's attempt at personalizing a belt. WWE were lucky with Cena's because it suited the times, but TNA's attempt is very amateur. So basically, yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point. It does look very amateurish when you compare it to the Cena belt, even though I was never a fan of the Cena spinning belt. Anyway.
Yeah, the U.S. title spinner belt was actually kind of cool. I'm not going to deny that one. But when they did it to the actual WWE title, I was livid.
I'm going to have to look up the U.S. one. I don't remember that one. I remember the WWE one.
Yeah, I do remember the U.S. one. That was
it was more of a record. It looked like more of a record,
Oh, really? It was
so he could be like, we could and spin it.
That's exactly, yeah.
I'm the U.S. champ, bitch.
Pretty much.
Well, he was the hip-hop homeboy then.
I missed that gimmick. That was really, really awesome. All right, so we're moving on to main event. Now, the only thing I want to talk about main event is basically Kofi knocked the hell out of Miz on SmackDown, and then they had main event, and on Raw, Kofi just blasted the Miz. Then on the next day, the rumor hit, and basically it was on Twitter that, bam, Kofi's holding the strap.
That wasn't a rumor. That was fact.
Well, right. That was, but initially it was a rumor because we didn't believe it that WWE, it turned out released the photo, and then you see the match on the main event. So it's like, I mean, does that make main event a must-watch?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, Joe. Anybody else? I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, it scored exactly the same rating it did from the previous week, which was champion versus champion. So some people must have wanted to watch it.
They're definitely putting solid matches on the show. I just, obviously since it's taped and you'll still have the allure kind of lost in that sense, it might not be as good as like an A-rated show, but it's got the matches to hold it up.
And it's got Ryback this week. Yeah,
but it's simple. It's like two matches. That's it, and it's build up only for those two matches.
Yeah, which I thought was really interesting. When they first started doing it, I thought for sure it was just going to be more segments from Raw and SmackDown to kind of push pay-per-views. But it is kind of neat that it's its own show. It's not like a teaser for something else. It's its own show. You could watch just main event and get a decent couple matches plus the build-up for those matches within that one show. You don't really have to concern yourself with Raw or SmackDown if you don't want to.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're just jumping over to main event, that preview they did with the Miz, like the video segment package, like, was awesome. Like, they are improving with those. So, like, they're just directed right in on the guys. You actually get to look back at some of the career. Like, there's a lot of Kofi Kingston stuff you forget about.
Yeah, they're really
You know?
stepping up their game when it comes to this. WWE's, I don't know if it's the same guys that are doing all the WWE studios, but yeah, they're really stepping up their game promo-wise as far as using that to tell a story. It's very interesting how these video packages are being put together. All right, so going forward in the main event, I mean, no, we're saying it's a must-watch. Are any of you guys actually going to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe, you're a yes. The reason I ask is because, like we talked about this last week, you kind of get fatigued. I mean, you're talking 10, 12 hours of programming every week. If you want to watch like Raw and main event, that's like, I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, wow, that's awesome, I got to watch it. But, you know, are you going to be able to find the time? Are you going to time shift it?
Go ahead, Lee.
I was just gonna say, it's pretty difficult to watch it over here since there's no TV channel that actually air it.
Yeah, and for me, you know, I DVR it. You know, if I have, there's been a lot going on in my life, obviously. So usually I don't get to watch it that day, but I can watch it. I will watch it, you know, get in the morning, take my morning shower, take my morning deuce. As I get started with the day, I usually have about an hour, 15 minutes, and that's what I do. I watch some wrestling, and main event is perfect.
It's a little
1 hour.
bite-sized snack time. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and it's quality.
Okay.
It's not Saturday Morning Slam.
Yeah, that was my other question. It's definitely an entirely different product. Go on, Rob.
I definitely plan to try to watch main event just because it's a new show, and with new shows, I try to watch at least a few episodes, kind of get a feel for it, see if it's something I'm going to like.
So you can have some street cred when you shit all over it later.
Exactly.
It's not fucking TNA. Next.
I'm not that bad, and I shit on TNA when they fuck up.
No, that is true. You are equal opportunity with that. Chat's saying they just see WWE main event as a filler show on the future WWE network, which is probably fair. Although it being on where it is right now is probably a good boon. All right, so moving on to SmackDown. Joe, here it is, man. I mean, the 500-pound elephant in the room. Is this the end of a Brodus Clay run?
I kind of think it is. I think that they've really tried to invest a whole lot into him, and I don't think they're getting all that they want to out of him. I partly blame the character that they've given him. While it was definitely interesting and different, I think it's kind of biting him in the foot or the face, whatever.
Whichever body part you want to insert.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to insert anything in there. But I'm pumped. But yeah, I don't know. I think that at the time they had too many monsters. You know, you had Tensai coming in, you had Brodus Clay, and you had Ryback. No, not Sin Cara.
Well, he was on
Sin Cara is not a monster.
Well,
I'm talking about a big guy who will tear the fuck out of people.
Okay,
Sin Cara is not that.
Sin Cara's a monster, just in the complete wrong way.
Yeah, it's with the gimmick they've given Brodus Clay, it's really hard to take him seriously. I mean, you watch him come out, and it's really hard to look at him and like, yeah, there's somebody who could be world champion.
But it's not been a bad. It's not exactly been a bad year for him, though. I mean, you know, he re-debuted in January. He's been in music videos with, is it Snoop Dogg, something like that? He's been on adverts. He's been on, he's been in the film. You know, he's not had a bad year for himself. It's just a TV thing.
Right. But all of that stuff you listed off, that's not going to move you closer to getting the world title. That stuff that's good for you personally. It's going to help his bank account. But it
and remind me what they're in there for.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I disagree with that only slightly because of the fact that they gave him enough of a push where they could have realistically got him in the main event picture. What killed that is when Big Show just completely fucking annihilated him. Excuse my French, but that's what pretty much knocked him down.
I don't even think that. I just don't think he's able to wrestle that well. I mean, don't get it wrong. He's tried and he's improved, but he's just not good enough for the main event.
Yeah, his in-ring work really is kind of shitty.
But it's not that bad. It's not that bad as what people say, but it's just not good enough.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Chat's saying they hope that it isn't the end because Brodus got a good run and he just needs a good storyline with a decent feud, which you can whip that card out for anybody. Flipping it on the coin, Joe. Wade Barrett.
Well, one more thing about Brodus.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry.
I want to ask you guys, who do you guys think would be a good person for Brodus to feud with at this point?
I'm gonna take.
Because I think that's where the shortcoming is that I don't think they have anybody who can really help push him.
I'm gonna take Scott's answer, and given the fact that Big Show just completely annihilated him, I would put those two together.
I see what you did there. Because usually that's Scott's answer.
What about the...
Wait a minute.
Well, for me, I mean, Darvin...
wait a minute.
Just got a pot shot, and I didn't even do anything about it. So.
You were there.
For me, it's the Garvin mentioned in the chat, the U.S. title, Cesaro. I mean, that'd be a pretty decent feud, I'd imagine, just because you'd have a solid face with Brodus, and then I think it would help push Cesaro a little bit more than really push Brodus, though, in that instance. Assuming Brodus doesn't.
That's not necessarily a bad thing either, though.
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, Cesaro is money.
But if you're looking to push Brodus Clay, I think you need a veteran wrestler. Somebody who can help push Brodus Clay.
So yeah, Big Show's best bet there.
Right.
Okay. Well, so moving on. Chad's saying Tensai, which I don't know about that.
I can see that one. I mean, they're both big dudes. I think they're more evenly matched.
Yeah,
and that could prove to have some good matches.
And even though Tensai is technically a new character, he's still Albert's still a veteran wrestler and can still do the job too.
Yeah, but I mean, what would he really benefit from beating Tensai, though? Especially as far much as he's dropped down. There wouldn't really be any big push from there. Right after that feud, he'd be right in the same spot.
Right. It wouldn't be as lifting as beating the Big Show or somebody.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, Joe. Bringing it back to Wade Barrett. Speaking of pushes, I mean, what do you think about Wade Barrett possibly in the world title race?
I like it. Maybe not right away, but I like the warm up they're giving him to push him toward that. I've liked his work since he's come back. The character's interesting, and the main event of SmackDown, Sheamus and Wade Barrett in a lumberjack match. That was a great match. Like, I liked finally somebody who can help Sheamus show off. Help prove that Sheamus can actually do good work in the ring, because let's be honest, his work's been pretty bland lately.
Okay.
And it's giving Wade Barrett a push in that direction, and I like it. I think he's upper card material.
Awesome. Is there anything else from? I 100% agreeing with you. But is there anything else from SmackDown you wanted to bring up?
The tag team matches. Rhodes Scholars beating Gabriel and Kid. Blah. How it could have been Gabriel and Gail Kim, it didn't matter. No, Rhodes Scholars is they're just doing great work. Team Hell No beating Dolph Ziggler and Big Show, another great match. I've been enjoying the tag team wrestling lately. I am very proud of WWE for putting a spark into their tag team division. Even more so, we had the long discussion about Team Hell No. It's outside of Team Hell No right now. There are other tag teams that are really worth watching and are showing off that are awesome. And that's what I'm really impressed with.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest takeaway from all this, is even if you did, I mean, you can debate whether or not you can take away Team Hell No and say that this would still be going on. But the fact is, you're right. It's going on. I mean, Rhodes Scholars are looking great. I mean, outside of Team Hell No, primetime players, I mean, it's only a matter of time before they have a breakout. So, that's pretty apt analysis there, Joe. Anything else that you want to talk about SmackDown before we move on to Raw?
Hey, we got to see Cesaro beat Ted DiBiase, so Ted DiBiase's still alive.
Yeah.
And Heath Slater gets a win. Heath Slater got a freaking win.
Yeah, how about that? I guess that weird team they're sticking him on is working out for him.
I'm so glad I don't have Brodus Clay this season.
Who would have thought Heath Slater would get points?
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so let's move on to Raw. This was the go-home show for Hell in a Cell. because Hell in the Cell is the match. So Hell in a Cell. Lee. I mean, okay, the one thing we got to talk about is, I mean, the Punk, Cena, Ryback situation going into Hell in a Cell. I mean, now that we're done with Raw, we're going into Hell in a Cell. Are you happy with how this is turning out? I mean, do you think this is WWE making the best of what they can, best with what they had, or do you think they are still screwing this up?
I don't think they fully decided what the hell's going to happen on Sunday, because clearly they're not sure with Cena. They didn't take the chance. But he's obviously going to be involved somehow. There's no way that Punk can win fairly, and there's pretty much no way Ryback can win, clearly. There's got to be something, so they're going to have to think of something masterful and get it out there, because the way they've built it up, I mean, Punk looks very vulnerable, which is it's a good sell, but I don't think anyone realistically believes Ryback is going to win, and I don't really think anyone believes that Ryback is going to lose in a weird way, because his streak is still there, and they've kept the momentum going, but of course CM Punk's streak is also there, so I can see CM Punk retaining, but I don't know how they're going to get there. They've really created a bit of a mess for themselves, to be honest.
Okay. What about AJ? How do you figure she factors into this whole thing with her affair with Cena and whatever that? I mean,
stupid.
I don't know how they managed to. I don't know where this has come from. They've clearly decided to pull the plug on AJ. I mean,
this is the best way they can do it.
Well, why? I don't know why they brought Vicky back. Yeah, I understand she gathers heat from the crowd and stuff like that, but I don't want it again. We've seen this. This is now repetitive TV again. And the whole, it wasn't even that bad. Like, okay, fine, let's see where they go with the whole AJ and Cena thing. See if it does anything. And then we literally rushed through about 3 weeks worth of content in TV in like an hour of the show. We went from, and then Cena got involved like he was, he's fucking AJ's mother or someone. It was ridiculous.
Maybe that's the new gimmick, and he's going to have her eat some Campbell's soup.
It was just absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know how it's going to play out. It's clearly going to play out in some kind of, either AJ gets her thingy back, or it just makes no sense to put Vicky. WWE have really screwed themselves over here, though, because Vicky's now been hired. What?
Do you think that maybe AJ will end up pregnant, and someone will attempt to blackmail Cena, and then there'll be like pictures of like AJ in bed with Cena, and Cena won't remember
oh my
it.
God!
See, you say that
I
now.
see what you did there, Joe.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, but he says that now. No, he said that now. But what words did they use yesterday? Indistinguishing evidence, was it? Oh, incriminating evidence.
Yeah.
We've heard them words before. If WWE have signed Claire Lynch, we are in the worst storyline since Katie Vick.
Yeah.
Come on, the Big Show's daddy being drugged. The Big Show.
That was pretty bad.
Boss Man is probably worse than Katie Vick.
Yeah, pretty much everything that happened during the Big Boss Man versus Big Show storyline was much worse.
I don't know. Camille from Hell was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
The
WWE has a long and proud history of shitty storylines.
but to be fair though, that happened before 2002.
This is true.
Yeah.
1999 or 8.
All right, here's a point in chat for you, Lee, that I want to kick to you. Chat brought up an interesting idea that hoping that AJ steals Ziggler from Vicky and then turns him on Cena for a bit before he cashes in.
I just don't like how Vicky's been used. I mean, I hope she like moves away from Ziggler now, but I'm still wary of what they're doing. I think you're gonna have to keep your eye out for this one.
See, no, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Okay,
No.
Just real quickly, I was wondering, because of your statement on Vicky and how she's being used, how would you use her if you were a booker for WWE?
Well, she gets heat. Put her, betray. You can betray Ziggler and put her on someone else. Someone who needs a bit of heat to get them going. Even not Cesaro because he's too. Put him on, an up and comer, to get the heat like they did with Ziggler. Ziggler obviously stands out because.
So use her to help develop a younger heel, basically.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
So why not? So team her up as a groupie or the manager of the 3-man band.
I was just gonna say that she would totally be like the terrible groupie for like some local
She's the
band.
Yoko.
Yeah.
She's the Yoko of the 3-man band.
If she can be at a biomimic show, I think she could be.
I see what you did there. That's how you do it, bastards. Anyway, continue on.
All right, Lee.
I'm
go
taking
ahead.
notes right now, Scott.
All right, Lee. Answer that, and then I got another one to throw at you.
I think personally with one of the younger guys that need a mouthpiece, such that I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'll come back to you on it.
I like the 3-man band idea. That's pretty good. All right, so you went on Twitter and actually said that a lot of people are pushing the Kofi main event push idea, but you think that The Miz is a lot closer. A lot of great stuff from him. However, he's lost 4 of his last 4 matches, including the title drop on main event. So do you really want to stand by that? And how does this... I mean, how can you think about this rise that he came back and we were all really hot on him, and then... a few years ago when he had his meteoric rise then. I mean, why can't he just stay in the spotlight?
Well, I'm going to guess that, obviously we've had rumors of his backstage attitude was crap. He just took it he was way above everybody else what he thought. And I think he's come back and then he's trying to prove himself again. And some of his mic work has been, some of the best things on the show. And, his wrestling, he's produced some great matches. I mean, even the matches with Kofi were good. He's the one making that alongside Kofi. And obviously, clearly they're pushing Kofi, but at the same time, I think they can just push the Miz right back up there to where he was before because he can do it. And he's proved he can do it. He can create some good television. And they just need to recognize it, and he needs to push himself. He's the one that needs to be recognized, and he needs to put the attention on him, which I think he can do. I think Kofi's going to struggle still because he always gets to a certain point, Kofi, and then he manages just I don't know how, but just stop himself.
Yeah, I think Kofi's feud with Orton was a big door opener for him, and they just something happened where they squashed him, and exactly. I think there's Kofi. You're right on Kofi. Is that he'll ramp up and then all of a sudden just tank. But I think Miz. I mean, after taking that Trouble in Paradise kick, that gave him those 6 stitches. I mean, damn. I mean, I watched that probably 100 times because it was just what a kick, and he's got cred in the back for taking that kick.
Yeah, and he does that. And if you think about that, he does that. He gets assessed. Obviously he's not going to cuss. Then he goes out and works a match on a main event, and then I think he did one on Smack. Does he do one on Smack? I think he does one on SmackDown. And then and then again on Raw, versus Ryback. He's not. And then he goes on to the house shows and stuff like that. He's not exactly a non-tough guy. He's well in there, and he's getting himself involved. Just take it as you go.
Okay. No, that's a fair point. The other one I want to kick to you is they had the Kane Bryan were going to come out and compete in a newly tagged, the Newlywed Show against Rhodes Scholars, hosted by Stryker. They said they wouldn't compete, so hell no, won by forfeit. Here's the thing, though. Just about everyone in the IWC shit on this segment on Twitter when they announced it, despite involving 5 amazing guys on the mic. Why can't we have fun segments like this anymore? I mean...
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. I know exactly who wrote that, and I know it's Garv who wrote that. I know it is for a fact. And the fact is, it wasn't a funny segment. It was awful. It was cringeworthy. For a kickoff, it was... Don't get me wrong, the one good thing about it was so brief. But like Matt Stryker coming out and just, I don't like Matt Stryker as a character anyway, so that just ruined it anyway for me. But they were just, it wasn't really funny. It was just kind of, it was kind of like they're now starting to make the lines from, and it's more obvious, and it's not funny.
I'm gonna say it was funny in the fact that I'm like, I can't believe they're doing this. This is so bad. It's funny.
Yeah, but that's not the way you want to. That's not the way you look.
I understand that, but.
No, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how they wanted you to perceive it.
Yeah. So, I mean, Daniel Bryan celebrating after the fact was just like, what the seriously?
I mean, it wasn't a great crowd. But
the crowd that night was horrible.
they were, but to be fair, but even they didn't even, when Brian started going yes, celebrating it, even they didn't join in, and they were hot for the yes chants as well.
But you know what? We're going to get to it later, but there's a touch in there with Stryker. I mean, before he took that punch from Show, there's something with Stryker. There's something with him, and going forward, I think he may be a factor.
I hope so.
I don't like him. I really, really don't like him. He's very.
Lee, it's okay, man. You're allowed to be wrong. It's fine. We're not going to think any less of you because we actually can't. There is no way for us to think any less of you. So you're allowed to be wrong. It's fine.
My streak cred's higher than your streak cred.
Depends on the street.
Yeah, it depends on the street.
No.
Well, isn't it like lanes or avenue? Well, anyway, from Twitter, this is I want to kick to you, and then we're going to move on. Styles Clash 10 said, are they trying to turn Cena heel without actually having him turn heel?
No, they're not.
Even with Dolph Ziggler's segment and all that stuff?
It doesn't matter. Cena will, Cena will not be heel. You cannot make Cena heel without turning him heel. You can't do it. No is the answer. They're just creating a little bit of, oh, did he? Did he not? No, of course he didn't. I'm really surprised that
if they're going to touch on, they're going to start turning Cena's character and doing it with this like AJ weird storyline. What they need to do is go back. I think it's to Howard Stern where they were interviewing John Cena and he was talking about all the fat women he used to sleep with for bets.
No. What? Twos before you get to tens, right?
Wait.
Yeah, no, there's an audio clip. I want to say it was Stern, and you know what? I'll take some time to go look for it. But yeah, he was conversing about fat girls and how he had a bet with somebody and had to sleep with some really ugly fat chick, and he was laughing about it.
Garvin saying you're right that it was on Stern. So he took bar bets to sleep with fat chicks.
Yep.
Yeah, but
that'll turn him heel. Well, no, I don't think that'll turn him heel, actually. I think everyone would just kind of laugh at him. Or laugh with him.
They won't turn him heel. I'm surprised they did it, though, with the fact that, he only, divorced, 2 months ago or something stupid.
Yeah, I cannot believe they're whipping this storyline out now.
It was back in 2006. And, he said he's been with, 6 girls at once, and he doesn't enjoy the back door. And
that's more of Cena than I really want to know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Are we seriously gonna sit here and debate about Cena's sexual antics? No. I'd like to proceed if you don't mind.
All right, so let's talk about Scott's sexual antics. All right.
There's not much there, man. I'm not gonna lie. Let's proceed forward.
All right. That's fair. Let's roll on to okay, Lee. Go home show. Hell in a Cell is coming up. Do you think Raw delivered, or do you think that this was just absolute crap?
I genuinely was I thought I was disappointed, really disappointed. I mean, even the main event, I thought that was pretty average, really slow. I mean, everyone was waiting for the Lumberjacks to start knocking the living shit out of each other. It never happened, and it was weird. I mean, for me, they've made it look like Ryback is a threat, but for me, that didn't sell any pay-per-views. I genuinely think that they're going to really have a hard time selling Hell in a Cell on SmackDown. I think it failed in terms of a go-home show. It was a very average show, especially when you're up against stupid competition as well on that night.
Yeah, Chet's agreeing with you, saying that not paying for Hell in a Cell after this show. Also saying that the only way you can turn Cena heel is by ending the streak, by making Undertaker tap to the STF. Can you imagine the riots? Wow.
No,
yeah.
That would turn WWE heel at that point.
Yeah.
It would pretty much collapse the company from within.
There would be a mass exodus after that.
You want to give a big middle finger to your diehard fans? There it is. That's the recipe.
How you do it. Yeah. That's how you kill your company overnight.
No. Whoever, right? Someone just said Cena going Undertaker would only piss off the people who already don't like him. That is absolutely wrong. Everybody, and I mean everybody, even the small little children who think Cena's a god, would say that is wrong. Because it is wrong.
It's wrong.
Genuinely, it is wrong.
Lee taking a moral stand. All right, moving on to Ask FTW. You ask, we answer. Each one of us is going to get 15 seconds? 30 seconds? Been a long time since we've actually devoted to time.
30.
30 seconds, thank you. To answer your questions. First up is Barrett534 saying, what is your opinion on the rumors that Undertaker will win at Royal Rumble and will end up facing either champion, i.e. a streak versus title? And then I got an addendum to this after we go through this one. All right, Lee.
No, I think they can use the Royal Rumble to do something else rather than take a streak, because take a streak is a whole storyline that has already been developed over the years. They don't have to use it for the Royal Rumble when they need that to build or break out a new star or even, punk rock or do something else with it. They can't do Undertaker.
Okay, Joe.
Perfect.
Okay, Rob.
Yes, answer.
Yeah, I'm with Lee on this one. Usually you use the Royal Rumble to do something else. I don't see where having Undertaker win Royal Rumble really does anything that the streak storyline itself can't do. It would be just a really bad idea.
Okay, Joe, you're back up?
Yeah, I am. Sorry about that.
That's good.
I don't like the idea. I don't think that Taker needs to have that type of match, where it's title versus streak, because if he's going to have a match this year, and I don't think he's going to, if he is going to, then you're taking a guy, he's not coming back until like January or February. He's only going to do this match and then you're going to stick a title on him because they're not going to break the streak. It just it's coming way out of left field on that one. If anything, they're going to build an actual good story.
Okay, Scott.
Joe hit it on the head with the whole title thing. They're not going to put a title on a guy that wrestles once a year. And another thing is that, and I know I'm probably going against the grain a bit on this, I don't want to see Undertaker anymore. I don't want to see him at WrestleMania. He hit 25, let him retire, just no more.
Okay, that's actually a really good point, because Chad actually is kind of echoing what you've been saying, that just let Taker retire already. They don't want to see a Taker match. I'm sorry. Another person in the chat said they do want to see a Taker match, but not title versus streak. Taker does not need a title. If CM Punk wants to go out with the big bang, this might as well. See a new WWE title after WrestleMania. They'd rather that Stone Cold won the Rumble than it would set up Austin versus Punk. I'm not going to give my point because you guys basically said, I'm in agreement with you. But here's the addendum to that. Someone sent in a note to us about this scenario, and we can't remember who sent it, so I do want to apologize for that. They pointed out that if Punk can hold onto the title until WrestleMania, he would have held the title for 505 days, thus making it a legitimate streak versus streak match. What about that? Taker versus Punk, streak versus streak at WrestleMania.
No.
If Taker was like 10 years younger, I'd say yes. I don't want to see Taker anymore.
Okay. It's not even that. It's not even, you expect the kind of the annual Undertaker thing, but there's just, why would you do? No, I don't think it would be a good idea, but the whole possibility of The Rock there, CM Punk and John Cena, the whole little mix that's going on there, Undertaker just doesn't fit into that category.
Okay. Joe?
I don't know. I think a streak for a streak thing, if they're going to do it, it needs to be Ryback, not Punk.
Really? You would rather see Ryback take out Ryback versus Undertaker than Punk versus Undertaker?
I think that Punk will have other people on the card that will give him a better match.
Oh no, that's a very good point. If you take that route with it, if you go on Punk's side for it. Rob, what do you think?
I just, like Scott said, there's no way they're going to give a title to a guy who wrestles once a year. So in that kind of a setup, that CM Punk's going to win, which means it's a waste of a match, and there are better people you could match up CM Punk with.
Okay, Chad's saying that Taker versus Punk match would be an instant WrestleMania purchase, but the title isn't necessary. They actually don't like the idea of a title in that match. The title would actually make it worse. They are kicking around the idea of it being The Rock, possibly. I don't know about that one. We'll get to the speculation. I mean, we're always talking about who's Taker going to face, what's the streak. We'll get to that when we go close to WrestleMania. But with this whole thing, I wanted to kick it out to you guys. All right, DJ Clean Styles pointed out that do you think that WWE should unify the championships again? People like Orton could be in the Raw main event, and the roster would appear to have more star power because the roster would have more depth. Because basically, you would be able to combine SmackDown and Raw and be able to spread guys around a little bit more because with Cena injured, Orton's out shooting a movie. I mean, you guys got, you have to go out and get, Ryback to go up against in a world title race because Orton's out or because Cena's injured, something like that. What about that? Unifying the titles so that way they can spread the upper echelon talent around. Joe.
At this point, I'm not sure if I want to see titles united. I know I've talked about in the past, but I don't know if I want to see them merge titles yet. I want another year or so to reassess because I want to see where the WWE's going in their path to determine if they need the other titles or not.
Okay. Rob.
I'm totally for this. Again, call me old-fashioned. I think a wrestling federation should only have like one federation champion, world champion, whatever you want to call them. I definitely think it's time for the WWE to unify the titles again.
Okay. Lee, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's the pros. Obviously, we've already said it. The whole it would make the roster look a lot deeper than it is. You'd get more matches out of it. A bit, you could change things around a bit. But the world title is not really meaningful at the minute anyway. I mean, Sheamus is just, I don't know why he's just destroying the title. I don't know how, but the whole split brand thing allows you to do so many different things. A world champion at a house show, it generates more money. So there's just so many different things that come into it. It was just hard to take one decision.
Okay, Scott?
I'm going to kind of piggyback off of Lee's point real quick. I don't think they should combine it mainly because of the fact that you guys were complaining that there's just too much wrestling. And in a lot of ways, some of that is because they're doing these super shows. They're combining all these wrestlers already into different brands. And, there was a time where back when they had the brands going full force, you didn't have to watch Raw and SmackDown to catch up with the same storyline. You could either be a Raw fan or a SmackDown fan, and it was okay. You combine the titles, you basically kill the brands. At that point, it's done. You have to combine the roster completely, and I don't think that this is the right time to do that, unless you kill SmackDown entirely.
Okay, I do want one counter to that, Scott, is with so many shows going around, I really think that the whole SmackDown versus Raw thing is going away. I would not be surprised if this coming pay-per-view cycle we do not see a Raw versus SmackDown thing at all. Like no draft, none of that anymore. The only thing for me, I don't want to see this because I'm like Joe. I want to wait and see what happens because the problem is, you're making a decision like that based on the situation right now. What's happening right now is poor roster management. It's not exactly like they're hurting for talent. They're just not managing them well, so they're not positioning things very well. So putting together the WWE and World Heavyweight or the World Championships is such a huge thing. It's like cleaning your front door with a cannon. It is the only thing I can think of. I mean, this is something you do not back away from if you want to do that. And then you run the risk of, if when Orton does get better, Cena does get better, all these guys, or when Orton comes back, all these guys coming back, then you worry about the main event title race being very, very crowded. Chat's saying that unify them already. They already have everyone on Raw anyway, which is true. If only someone like Ziggler, Cody, or Miz, or possibly Kofi did it, that would be interesting. Since they still do separate house shows, it won't happen. Yeah, that's another good point too. Although the house show thing, that's really kind of inside baseball. Unify the shows, never mind the title. Yeah, that's a fair point too. All right, so moving on. Before 40 said, looking at the current roster, who would you like to see compete together in a 60-minute Iron Man match? Joe.
Say it again.
Who? Okay,
Sorry.
Look at the current WWE roster. Who would you want to see in a 60-minute Iron Man match? And I know one name that should be on all of your lists.
Ziggler.
There it is.
But the other one. It's just tough.
Don't say Ryback.
No.
Why would that even be considered?
Actually, Kofi.
Oh, Kofi
Not a
versus
bad
Ziggler. Not bad at all. All right, Rob, can you top that?
Ziggler doesn't have the stamina or the conditioning to go 60 minutes. I would
Such a
put.
hipster.
It's the truth. I'm sorry if the truth hurts,
That's
Harrison.
not the truth.
I would like to see CM Punk, and I know you guys are going to get on me for this, but fuck you all. John Cena. I think those two would put on a great Iron Man match.
You
You're
want
saying
to talk
Punk
about
Cena?
Oh.
All right, so we got Punk Cena from Rob. Man, you're going to get hate on Rob. All right, that's Rob, not Joe said that. Rob said that. All right, Lee.
I'm gonna go with. It's a tough call. It's really difficult to think about.
60 minutes.
The
I know,
Great
right?
Khali versus Brodus Clay.
I'm going to...
The Great Khali would die of a heart attack halfway through the match.
No, he wouldn't even make it halfway.
I actually think that could be the funniest match ever.
I want to slap whoever
He's-
said.
He's trying to rid the world of a subpar wrestler. Good. Okay.
The greatest aspect of this is that most likely the first half hour would be dance competitions between Khali and Brodus Clay.
Somebody in the live chat suggested Khali versus Heath Slater, so there's another dance segment too.
Honestly, we'd get to 20 minutes through, and all you would hear on the mics around on the ring would just be Khali shouting instructions. That was all you would hear.
Oh, are you kidding me? 3 minutes in, the ref's throwing up the X.
Yeah, he's like, no, just these guys wheezing away as they're trying to get through just a 10-minute match. All right, Scott, you got a better roster for that?
Well, the one I have in mind would be CM Punk versus Ziggler. I don't agree with Rob at all. I think Ziggler totally has the stamina to do a 60-minute match.
Doesn't sound as good as mine.
And for 59 of that,
I admit I could be wrong, but from what I've seen of Ziggler, I don't think he can do it.
Well, you can train to get more endurance. I mean, that's how you run marathons. Me, it's Ziggler Punk. I know two heels, whatever. If they could somehow work that, I think that would be a fantastic match. Just because those two guys really know how to play give and take. And you know what, Rob? I'm going to come to your defense. When it comes to, quality matches, especially, when times like this, Cena could be a dark horse candidate for a solid match when it comes to this. And you know what? Throw your hate this way, and me and Rob, but yeah, I think Cena's not a bad choice for this.
He's done it before. I mean, with the I Quit matches and everything, he's shown that he can take a beating and go through a very long, brutal match.
Yeah, he knows how to pace. He knows how to pace well, which is the important part of it.
Okay.
John Cena, he's already had an Iron Man match. It's him and Randy Orton had one in 2009, I think.
Was it a 60-minute or was it like a 30-minute?
No, it was a 60-minute one, I think. I'm sure.
So then he's already been through one.
And then he did one with Rob's favorite wrestler, Dave Bautista.
Wasn't that an I Quit? Oh no.
Dave,
how can you put a guy on for 60 minutes that only has 4 moves? I just don't know why you would want to do that to the WWE universe.
Well, because when you're doing an Iron Man match, it's not like the camera's on him the entire time.
I can't
moves.
It cuts away to backstage segments.
Well, no, you can just cut away and come back to it.
It just goes to the Slurpee guy who's just like selling freaking Slurpees to the
and then they go crashing through it. Yeah, that's basically it.
Hot dogs!
Get the hot dogs here. Bam! All right. Ian on Facebook said, if WCW and ECW... Oh, man, here we go, another one of these. If WCW and ECW were still here today, do you think that TNA would be too? Oh, actually... Ooh, that has a lot of really good implications. All right, Joe.
Yeah, but I don't think they'd be as big as they are. Because I think most of their talent would be in the other two companies. Most of the current talent on their roster would be in the other two companies.
Okay. Rob. Mr. TNA, Rob.
I don't think TNA would be here. Talent like AJ Styles would probably have been picked up by WCW because they had a great training facility, tryout facility in Atlanta, Georgia. Sting damn sure wouldn't be there. He'd still be with WCW. So that takes a big piece out of TNA's puzzle right there. ECW would snatch up a lot. No, I don't think TNA as it is right now would be divided between ECW and WCW talent.
Okay. Lee.
I think Rob's just pretty much taken my answer. Yeah, I mean it's it wouldn't be easy. I mean I think they'd pretty much been Ring of Honor's territory or someone like that. I mean, I don't think they'd be able to compete with the whole with WWE or even be on Spike. I just don't think they would be anywhere near.
Damn it, Lee. That was my point. All right, Scott.
It's hard to imagine TNA existing at that point. Like it's already been said. I mean, most of TNA's talent already came from those companies. And, Sting is one of those guys that's really been pushing TNA to get there too. And, without Sting, I don't think TNA would have gotten the same amount of cred. So it's hard to say. It really is.
Yeah, they really built TNA on Sting's back.
Yeah. Chat saying that no, WCW and ECW will be the big spotlights on bigger networks right along with WWE. Maybe ECW to a lesser extent. TNA would be at best indie. If WCW and ECW was still here, Hogan would not be there. Styles Clash 10 on Twitter actually said that AJ and Daniels were both WCW in their last days. So that's another good point too, that they actually were in WCW. And those are two of their, A-list talents. Yeah, I would like to think that TNA would be there just because it's an interesting thing, but probably not. I mean, they are kind of built on the rubble of WCW and ECW to an extent. The bigger question from the chat, actually, is where TNA would be if Hogan and Bischoff were never there. I think they're a lot closer to WWE than they are right now, or that they would be closer to WWE than right now. What about that? We'll do a quick one on that from the chat. If Hogan and Bischoff were never in TNA, do you think that they would have been better off? Joe?
Yes and no. I think that their wrestling product would be better, but I do think that Hogan and Bischoff did bring a little more of the main event expertise with them, unfortunately.
Okay. Rob?
I've got to agree with Joe. Their in-ring work would be better. They'd still have the six-sided ring and some of the unique stuff that sets TNA apart. But Hogan and Bischoff brought media expertise. Hogan and Bischoff bring a lot of stuff that you can do behind the scenes to get a Fed noticed and elevated that TNA just didn't have before they came along.
Okay. Lee, what you think?
As far as I'm concerned, Eric Bischoff has made a hell of a lot of what TNA is. I don't care what anybody says. Eric Bischoff he's very, very, very good at what he does. And he's good more than Hogan, in my opinion. Obviously, Hogan just has the star power and has the ability to bring people there. But I think Eric Bischoff is the man, honestly.
Okay. Scott, what you think?
There's already a lot of things that's been said that's pretty much on the money. I think ultimately, if it wasn't for Hogan and Bischoff, you'd have a better wrestling product. But when they came in, TNA became a better entertainment product as well. So I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm with Lee on that one. You gotta chalk that up to Bischoff. I mean, you can say, Hogan, star power, all that stuff. But really, when you look at the mutations that TNA has taken over the years, and then bringing in guys like Pritchard and stuff like that behind the scenes, you really, and the Ring of King, you really have to chalk that up to Bischoff. I mean, he is very media savvy when it comes to that stuff. Thank you, Chad.
Bischoff is great at building a company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not so much keeping it there, but building it.
Very true.
It's keeping it that's the issue for him, but he can build something.
He has mastered the art of the seduction, not so much the marriage. Dimitri wanted to ask us. This is actually pretty cool. He posted on our forum Okay, so here's the gist of it. He started watching wrestling in 2006, and he can only get SmackDown in Germany. He's German. He couldn't see Raw or pay-per-views until he got a good internet connection about a year ago. Suffice to say, here's the kicker. He's never watched the Attitude Era. He never watched the 80s and the early 90s, so this is what he asks. Do you think it's good that I never saw what happened in the Attitude Era? I cannot say that things are bad now, and I want to go back to the old times because I only know WWE how it is right now in the current PG iteration. What do you think about that? Is it bad that he never saw the Attitude Era? Joe.
Dimitri, I want to thank you for telling us this, and I want to say that I welcome your insight. So please give us more of your comments on how the shows are going, because I think that you have you'll have a very different outlook on things compared to everybody else on the show. Mm-hmm. And I really would like to be able to watch wrestling through your eyes. See, I've left out. I'm going to run long. Sorry. But I stopped watching wrestling when it left regular television in my area So WrestleMania 7, 8, on to about WrestleMania 17, I missed wrestling into almost entirely. So I know what it's like, but then I went through part of the Attitude Era, and I went back and watched old shit. So, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's a different thing.
Okay. Rob, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm right on with Joe with this one. I think it's, I don't think it's really a question of good or bad. It's got to be an awesome perspective from your eyes. I mean, WWE has to look a lot better now. A lot of concerns from the Attitude Era you don't have to worry about. So no, I don't think it's bad in that it hurts you at all. I think it actually helps you out a little bit watching wrestling now because you don't have anything else to compare it to. That being said, there was some great wrestling in the Attitude Era that you might want to check out at some point.
Okay, yeah, good point. Lee, what do you think?
I think he's in a major advantage here because I know how bad this will sound, but he won't understand when we say, certain things about, even not just us, but anybody says certain things about the Attitude Era, about, do you remember when he did this? Like, the product for him right now will be fresh in pretty much every way because he's not used to, the storylines. He's not used to the whole, they've just redone that, from this, and, the first time Stone Cold, doing a beer truck and stuff like that. It's good to not be able to compare it because then you can't moan about the product as such. You can tell when it's bad television, but you can't say, that was just exactly what they did with this. So no, this is exactly, it's like Goldberg, Ryberg, they can't do that. It's like, this is all very fresh. So I think to be honest, I think it's a major advantage.
Scott?
Do you think he ever gets pissed off because of the,
Thanks,
because of the way his show goes? Sorry, Scott, but
I think he gets pissed off when it's crap TV, when you can tell it's just boring, and when it doesn't liven up, and when it's just stupid. When I still think people have logic, and I know how bad that sounds, but people understand that logic is logic, and they think, well, didn't he do this, or is she not with him, etc. When I think
I meant our show. I meant our show. You think he gets pissed off at our show because we're talking about this bullshit, and he's just like, fucking A. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Fuck you guys. Dimitri, if you say fuck you guys, let us know.
Actually, you know what? Considering, I'm assuming English is a second language.
Scott.
If he's following our show, good on him. I mean, we jump around pretty quick. So if he's following us in with English as a second language, goddamn.
Well, most people in Europe can speak more than one language.
Okay, Rob, shut up. Scott,
look at Cesaro.
Harrison,
Cesaro speaks 5, so there you go. No, I don't think it's necessarily like Joe was saying. I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. I think it's just a different thing. You get to look at the product from a different perspective, and in that case, that's fantastic. But for me personally, it's not so much the Attitude Era as it is the Monday Night Wars. Yeah. There's so much great television that came out of the Monday Night Wars on both WWE and WCW's side. So you would definitely want to go back to that. If you really love wrestling and you like watching good wrestling television, you're going to want to kind of go back to that a little bit and take a look at that, because that might also kind of change your perception a little bit of what they're doing now. But ultimately, for me, that's what it is. Not necessarily the Attitude Era, but the Monday Night Wars that really kind of defined wrestling at that period.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. I mean, you nailed it. It's the Monday Night Wars, Dimitri. The Attitude Era, for me, I know Joe has been on this forever, just to bury it and be done with it. I actually don't think it was as big or as momentous as it was. I think we're all looking back on it with rose-colored glasses. But really, it's the Monday Night Wars. The original run of Goldberg. Eric Bischoff spoiling Raw because it was taped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch Tony Schiavone personally kill WCW.
Yes, that too.
That was so fantastic.
Oh yeah, Mick Foley, that'll put asses in the seats every night. Saw people at WWE events holding up signs. Foley put my ass in the seat.
That was fantastic.
On the WCW side, at least you've got Jericho being the man of 1,004 holds.
Armbar.
Armbar. Every fourth move was armbar.
Yeah, Look, Dimitri, you really got to go through. I mean, you're going to have to watch the best of just because it's going to give you a good idea of what it was. But there's really nothing to be said. I mean, the best description I could give you is this is kind of like when my wife, her exposure to the Beatles was through the White Album. So she never really heard Sgt. Pepper's or Abbey Road or anything like that or the final recording. So she never heard really when the band started to fall apart. So watching her experience that for the first time was really interesting because it was like she's hearing this all new and fresh. So Dimitri, yeah, like Joe said, dude, you got to write in. I mean, if you want to talk to Dimitri about this, we have our beta of our forums up right now. If you go to ftwpodcast.com/talk, you can see on there, you can talk with Dimitri. I'm sure he's going to be on there a few times, at least now, because we're putting him on a spotlight. Of course he's going to be on there. You can discuss with him what he thinks about this kind of stuff because, yeah, I mean, we don't want to treat you like some kind of like ape from Jane Goodall. You know, we got to study you. Like you're some kind of like preserved, dino specimen in amber. But you do have an interesting viewpoint that we definitely want to hear more of. So if you want to talk to Dimitri or just talk about wrestling in general, ftwpodcast.com/talk. We are running the beta of the forums. Definitely check them out. Let us know what you think, if you like them, if you want to see some stuff change. We're trying to figure out how to integrate it into the show, but definitely check it out. From the chat saying they don't think it's bad that Dimitri never saw Attitude Era. He thinks they're actually kind of sick about people whining about the PG era as a straw man for the very real problems WWE has. Absolutely. That right there. I want to put that on a card that I can hold, a soundbite I can play whenever someone brings that up. It's refreshing to know that people don't know about the Attitude Era, but he needs to watch some of the Attitude Era matches. It's just part of history, and it really is. I mean, you could talk about some of the big ones all day. I mean, we could spend a whole show doing that. All right, so moving on. Kilo G wrote in. This one's going to make us go long too. Kilo G wrote in saying, wondering what we think the single most important moment in the last 25 years of professional wrestling was. His pick is Stone Cold's Austin 3:16 promo. He thinks it, more than anything, changed the trajectory, of professional wrestling, and without it, he has doubts that professional wrestling would exist today. I'm going to give you the fans, and then we're going to do ours, okay? Smokey says, biggest one he can think of, and bear in mind that he only really started paying attention to wrestling a little over a year ago, is Punk's pipe bomb. He can't think of a better delivered shoot promo that pulled the curtain back as far as Punk's did. Although it's kind of interesting because you only watched wrestling a little over a year ago. The other one is, another contender would be the Montreal Screwjob, since it simultaneously caused Bret Hart to wind up leaving WWF, moving to WCW, as well as, he didn't leave because of it, but, and as well as setting up Vince McMahon's character for the next several years. And Garvin, our producer, said that the single most important moment is when WWE bought WCW, because that completely changed the business. All right, so you guys, last 25 years, okay? So try and think of it that way. What is the biggest thing from the last 25 years, Joe?
Well, it sure as hell isn't Chris Jericho doing the Moss Cover 3 handle family credenza. But I'm going to have to say that it was ECW's first pay-per-view. Because that was a turning point for a little company that did actually revolutionize the business. ECW changed the business. They changed the product for the two big guys. And when they finally got on pay-per-view, they finally took that step up to the next level.
Okay, fair point. Rob, what was your biggest moment in the past 25 years?
To avoid repeating stuff that's already been said, I'm going to say I'm going to go with what Scott and I were joking about just a little while ago. I think one of the biggest points was Tony Schiavone blowing and crapping over Mick Foley becoming champion because Raw was taped. Because that completely changed the scope of the Monday Night Wars. It gave a shot in the arm. It energized WWE's fan base, and that's when you really began to see the split between I'm a WCW fan and I'm a WWE fan, and it was one of the things that I put as one of the big pieces that I would put that ultimately led to the fall of WCW.
Okay. Lee, what do you think?
I think it's very, very, very difficult to pick out one particular moment. There's just so many that changed it. I mean, for their individual right. But again, to avoid repeating, stuff that's already been said, such like that, I think Austin is definitely right up there. But another flick I also think that's going to be up there is probably WCW going live. I mean, I think WCW really, really took it to WWE, and had they not have done that, we may not have, had the standard that we got and the standard that we still get now. I think WCW started off, they really pushed WWE.
Okay, Scott, your biggest moment from the past 25 years.
I'm kicking myself because we talked about this already now a couple times, so I actually kind of have to change it. My original one was going to be the Tony Schiavone kind of dropping the ball there. But I had to think about it while you guys were talking, and another moment that I can think of is pretty much the beginning of the NWO. I mean, when you think about it, it was so close to shattering the fourth wall when they were talking about that, because the way that WCW built it is that it was these guys from another company that were coming in and invading. And it was such an interesting storyline that it spanned for quite a long time. It really just kind of started pulling the curtain a little bit on that type of feud between companies, even though they were doing it all internally. So I would say the NWO's inception and a good portion of their run was probably a very game-changing moment.
That's actually a really good point, Scott. Mine is, this one's really, really backstage, but it's when WWE went public. They went public I wanted to go back and make sure. They went public in 99. And the reason why I want to say that is because what they did was they generated an insane amount of money that essentially allowed them to push themselves onto terrestrial TV to go up against WCW Thunder, hyping up the Monday Night Wars, really amp it up, and then gave them the capital to not only start XFL, but also buy WCW and ECW. So I gotta say, it's really, well, yeah. But say what you want. When Vince took WWE public, he put a professional wrestling promotion on the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, he really legitimized it as an actual corporation. And when you think about it, from there spawned WWE Studios. The publishing arm that they use for other book sales, all the little corporate, pieces that they need to move around to kind of cement themselves as a giant in, content that they put out, really started when they did their IPO.
Yeah, one of the reasons that it's so hard for TNA and other companies to catch up to WWE financially is because Vince decided to make the company public.
Yeah.
And that just created so much more money.
And not even money, but exposure. He had to start a board of directors in order to, bringing in an insane amount of talent to manage the business side of it. I got to say that would probably be it. Chat saying, Dimitri actually is in the chat, saying pipe bomb for him. That was awesome. WrestleMania 13, Austin versus Hart. That's the one where they switched, right? That was 13? Where Austin and Hart went in heel face and then they switched that night because of the
Canadian crowd, I think it was.
Yeah, it was in Canada. Yeah, I think that was WrestleMania 13.
Can't remember.
Yeah, Vince changing WWE from wrestling to sports entertainment to avoid the New Jersey tax. ECW's barely legal. Also bringing up NWO. If it wasn't for them, would WWF have really created DX to answer that and create the Monday Night War? WWE going public in 99 because Vince lost a lot of power and had a board of directors that had to be made. Yeah, that's true. Also, doesn't think it's the most important, but it's up there. The finger poke of doom. WCW really never recovered, and it was all downhill from there. That was when Goldberg, right?
No,
that was Hogan and
the finger
Bishop
poke of doom was a match between Hogan and Kevin Nash.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with whoever said that in the live chat. That's another one of my big cornerstones that eventually led to the fall of WCW. They never really recovered from that, and it really hurt WCW's image and credibility.
Oh, absolutely. All right, Garvin, some Yahoo that produces a awesome podcast that he contributes very little to, said that we talked about AJ Lee being the superstar of the year. The only person who was even considered at the time was Dolph Ziggler. He says, let's be honest, it's Daniel Bryan because he has a beard, and apparently you want to rub beards with him. I don't know. Joe, what do you think? DB?
I'm sorry, what?
What, the idea of Garvin and Daniel Bryan rubbing beards together? That's how they mate.
That's right.
We're really going to discuss this.
Hey, we talked about Cena doing it earlier. Might as well talk about how Garv gets down and dirty. Daniel Bryan.
The show again.
Daniel Bryan is Superstar of the Year. Seriously though, Daniel Bryan Superstar of the Year. Is it as stupid as he would say it, or is it legitimate? A legitimate idea?
I don't. I'm sorry. The image of them rubbing their beards. I mean, it's strangely erotic, but it's
like a modern day Viking Eskimo kiss, but they
no. It's going to be like two kids when they're making out and get their braces stuck together.
Oh my god! What is
and there we go. There's our own finger poke of doom, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it's gonna, and it will smell like wet dog.
Rob, bringing it all back. Look at that, man. Nice.
But
right.
no, I don't think Daniel Bryan is the Superstar of the Year. I think he's maybe he's had some of the best segments, but as far as in-ring work, I gotta say that Ziggler's got him beat right now.
Really? Okay. All right. No, that's fair. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Rob, what do you think?
No. I would lean towards, at least on the WWE side, if we're talking Superstar of the Year, Ziggler would be a contender for me, but I would lean a little bit more towards CM Punk. Just the stuff this guy's been doing, is just awesome. In ring, out of ring, he can do it all.
Okay. Lee, what you think?
I can't say Dolph Ziggler because I expect him to be further by now. I know he's got the Money in the Bank case, but I just expect him to be further. I think it's hard to differ from Daniel Bryan just because of the matches that he's put on, which have been brilliant. I mean, in TNA side, there's been Austin Aries as well, but it's going to go dropping down a touch. But I think also that we're also forgetting that CM Punk has done a hell of a lot of good work this year. And I know we're going to talk about standout breakout stars, but the whole heel turn for him has give him a new set of fans. A new set of fans who don't like him as such, which essentially turning him heel, which have all now the small kids have a reason to hate him. So he's kind of I'm going to say Daniel Bryan now because I think fairly obviously.
Okay, glad you finally got to that. Scott, what you got?
Well, I'll try not to take 2 minutes. I don't.
This is coming from the people who were talking about beards and making out with.
I wasn't talking about beards. All right, I was trying to derail that. All right,
Scott, hang on a second. Lee, we were talking about something beautiful.
Oh God.
So I take an affront to that.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know how beautiful that would really be. Anyway.
Nature. It's nature, Scott.
Anyway, I don't think it's Ziggler. He bounces in and out of spotlight too much, and we'll talk about a little bit of that when we go into the Hell in a Cell conversations. Daniel Bryan definitely, in my personal opinion, before people start flacking me here, I do believe Daniel Bryan is a better contender for Superstar of the Year versus Ziggler, just because he's done very consistent work, and he's actually becoming more of an entertainer now with a lot of his work with Kane than he's ever had before. So I love his work right now, but I have to say CM Punk for two reasons. One, I'm biased as hell, and I'm not going to lie about it. And two, I'm not going to lie.
Scott and I are from Chicago. We're required to root for CM Punk at all times.
I love the honesty.
And two, when you kind of look at consistency, I mean, CM Punk he's definitely been there in the spotlight almost the entire year. He's bounced a little bit, but not as much as Dolph Ziggler. He's always been very good about his work, and it's just, I gotta love the guy, so.
The thing is, you really got to look at it. And when I think Superstar of the Year, I always want to put Breakout or something in front of that to kind of think, where they were at the beginning and where they are now. If you want to look at, who's made the biggest thumbprint on the company, you can kind of say CM Punk. But as far as, massive growth, you got to give to Ziggler. Daniel Bryan last year, hands down, was the Superstar of the Year. This time, though, I got to give it to Ziggler, just because the meteoric rise. I mean, we're really starting to see, if things keep going like we keep saying they will, that he's going to be the next big thing, then this is going to be his year. This will be his Austin 316. This is going to be the thing that puts him into the main stage, assuming things keep going that way. But I still got to give the edge to Ziggler right now. Anything can happen if Ziggler starts to flag, or he injures himself or quits. Who knows? Decides to abandon the whole thing and move to Africa. I don't know. Then I'd say Daniel Bryan, because he's been
he's not Dave Chappelle.
He lives in Ohio now.
Let me just jump in here. And Dave Chappelle has always lived in Ohio, so I don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, the thing about Daniel Bryan, though, is he's actually won something. Dolph Ziggler has won one quality match, and that is the Money in the Bank. Otherwise, how much has he actually won?
See, it's
like he loses every other match, really, realistically.
Yeah, you have an excellent point there. The thing is, though, is that I can't separate where we keep saying Dolph Ziggler is going to be. I can't separate that from my mind. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, anything can happen. If things keep going like we keep saying they're going, and Dolph Ziggler starts, he cashes in the belt, he starts to have an amazing burn, everything, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, as of right now, I just got to give it to Ziggler because the potential is there. Whereas with Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan last year, hands down, the superstar of the year. I mean, he had a hell of a year last year. But
do you not think that Dolph Ziggler is in a similar position to what Daniel Bryan was in last year?
No, because D-Bry was coming off of the whole being, I don't know. You're really comparing two different things.
I know, but what I'm saying is that Dolph Ziggler is just not. He's not. He can't be superstar. Don't get me wrong. He's sold some brilliant things, and he is ready to be the next breakout star. But he's not the breakout star because he's not done anything, and he's not Don't get me wrong. He's very good, and we've all talked about it, but he's not done out effectively.
Okay. Hey, Guy. I mean, anybody else want to say anything to that? I mean, the idea that Ziggler's where D-Bry was last year.
Well, they almost are going through similar type of progressions here. I mean, that's how D-Bry got the title. He had the Money in the Bank case, and so in that case, they're going through similar progressions. But I think Daniel Bryan actually did a better job with it versus Dolph Ziggler. Like right now, he's languishing. He's got it, but you don't even hear that much talk about, is he really going to cash it in? Is he going to do it? He hasn't really done anything with it. So he's not really doing anything to hype it.
I have a feeling that's more WWE. I think the Money in the Bank thing has kind of lost its edge because they've teased it. They tease it so much. Well, I'm going to say they tease it so much because every pay-per-view, they say, Dolph Ziggler, they post it, Dolph Ziggler's going to cash in or whatever, and they tease it on SmackDown. No, he's cashing in, but he's not cashing. That people just get bored of it.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's fair. Chat saying that at least our beard on beard love, beautiful, pure nature experience. It's not HBK and Triple H's illicit love affair, so we're making progress there, and we are making progress. Now we have beard on beard versus, Triple H and HBK. Daniel Bryan from World Heavyweight Champion to Tag Team Champion with Team Hell No. He's just a front runner. But for him, he would say Austin Aries hands down if you had to compare both TNA and WWE. Yeah, I can agree with that. Daniel Bryan, they're saying Daniel Bryan is better than Dolph Ziggler because of his consistent world-class quality wrestling, his improved mic skills, and his comedy has been funny. He's all-around superstar of the year. There's another person says CM Punk was last year's superstar of the year because of the pipe bomb and everything else that happened from that moment last year. Daniel Bryan is this year, Dolph next year. That might actually be if of all the theories that we've put forth and I've heard today, that one's probably it. Where we're going to say at the end of this year what's going to happen, that's probably it. All right, moving on to the last Ask FTW. Diva Jill says, am I the only one who wants to see Matt Stryker manage Rhodes and Sandow? What do you think, Joe?
I said it on Twitter when she posted that, and I'll say it again. I think it's brilliant. I think he will fit in very well with Sandow and Rhodes. He's a former wrestler. I have no idea. I asked a question last night. Why did he stop wrestling? Nobody really has a good answer other than he started doing commentary. But I would like to see him get involved even as a manager and really help those guys get to the top.
Okay, Rob.
Yeah, it definitely could be a match, a good matchup for him. It would give Stryker something to do, increase his visibility, and he could really help elevate those guys. That all around, I think Jill's got a good idea on this one.
Okay, Lee.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, just because I just don't like Matt Striker. I can see why everyone likes it though, because Sandow's obviously clearly the built as the intelligent one, and Striker's got the full background and stuff like that. But Striker's just so boring for me. He's mic work. He's to me and as a character, he's just terrible. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah,
You're wrong.
You're
Scott.
wrong.
You know what? I hate to say this, but I actually kind of agree with Lee. I don't see how. That's fine. I don't see how Stryker can do anything that Sandow hasn't already done and better. I mean, what is Matt Stryker really going to contribute other than just being a manager? Sandow has already proven that he's better on the mic than Stryker. He plays his intellectual character far better than Stryker ever could. And honestly, Matt Stryker I don't know. I just don't see how he can contribute to them. Now, I do want to see Matt Stryker back, don't get me wrong. And in that case, I know I'm going to piss Lee off. Sorry. But as a manager for Rhodes and Sandow, I just don't see what he can contribute that Sandow already brings.
I think what he's going to do is it's going to interject him because he does have. They can put him back in a announcing role or a play-by-play type role or color role. They need a new heel announcer type person. Because look at Michael Cole. Michael Cole switched back to a face.
But that's fine. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Right, but I'm saying that they could use Stryker as a heel.
Stryker wouldn't fit in as a heel.
He doesn't fit in as anything.
Exactly.
As a wrestler, he was a heel.
Yeah, no, but he didn't fit in, and he was never pushed that far because he just didn't work.
Garvin brought up a pretty good point here. What if they put the AW headset on Stryker during the matches?
I'd rather they put the AW headset on Sandow.
Yeah,
Sandow is a better talker than Stryker. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense.
But if Sandow's in the ring, you're going to hear him calling moves. And then we're going to have...
Booker T did it in TNA. Why not?
Leave G.I. Bro alone.
It always comes back to the bro.
Scott's got a really good point there as far as, Sandow, when it comes to doing what needs to be done as far as a manager and in the ring work, Sandow is going to do a better job than Stryker. I just want to see Stryker ringside. I don't want to see him involved in that. If he does, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but he's going to have a hard time keeping up with Sandow because Sandow just is better at getting that heat than Stryker is. Chad's also saying that Rhodes Scholars don't really need a manager. They think they're doing just fine without Matt. They say forget Stryker, Heyman, which is always the one that everyone goes to. Stryker can be Sandow's Ricardo.
I could see that.
Get Ricardo. Why use Stryker? Just have Ricardo.
No, you have Stryker, then Ricardo versus Stryker in a match. Ricardo wins.
No, because that's going to turn into one of those tuxedo matches, and no. Stryker already has duties on the web. He does not need a tuxedo match with Ricardo.
Seriously?
Oh, God.
Yes, seriously.
Get the fuck out of that.
Yeah, seriously.
Chet's also saying that Stryker could be Rhodes' mouthpiece then. Rhodes can't keep up with Sandow. We saw that last night. So basically, Rhodes would be 3 degrees separated from mic work for his own team.
Can I just cut you off for a minute? This is so weird. This is so weird and coincidental. But Matt Stryker tweeted 23 minutes ago, "If I manage again, I'll consider going the Paul Jones or whatever, or maybe the early Belfast Bruiser." He's just literally tweeted that in the last 20 minutes.
Hey, well, obviously he's listening to the show. Clearly he's listening to our show. So hi, Matt. Glad you're listening to the show. Glad to see you're a fan. Feel free to write in. You should definitely check out our forums. Join Dimitri. Talk about what it was like, watching wrestling without having to see the Attitude Era.
And drop us a line. We'll get you in on the next show.
Well, let's not get hasty. I mean,
and please, God, don't post nude pictures of yourself anymore. Just saying. Just saying.
We'll have to put them on when Scott's on, so they can have awful discussions.
Like, just so you know, I'm bigger than you. Anyway.
All right, Hell in a Cell.
I'm dying.
I'm killing Joe. Sweet, I get to take his place.
All right, so Hell in a Cell is this weekend. As of right now, only one match is being booked for the Hell in the Cell, actually, the WWE Championship main event. It could change going in. Who knows? Especially with Twitter and everything. But first off,
How many matches?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. Some of these are speculations, so we're just gonna have to go on that. Speculation on our part is that probably the U.S. Championship is going to be defended. Cesaro versus possibly Justin Gabriel. If you had to pick one, I mean, does anybody think Cesaro's going to drop the title?
No.
No.
No, but they're going to put on one hell of a match if they do it. If they give them the time.
Okay, so you don't see this being like one of those YouTube pre-shows or anything like that?
Oh, it could be, but I don't think they'll give the. I would like to see these two guys go 20 minutes.
Cesaro and Justin Gabriel? Yeah, that'd be a pretty good match. Yeah.
It won't happen, though. It won't go 20 minutes.
No, it won't, and that's the bummer. I would love to see it, though.
I'll give you one more match.
Oh, go on.
I'll give you it's Eve versus Layla versus Catelyn, and that's official.
Oh, that is official? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so next up is the Divas Championship. Eve, Layla, and chat saying I want to see Gabriel take it so bad. Whoa, calm down now.
This is getting worse. This
You need some lotion for that.
Welcome to FCW After Dark. We're gonna have
Tonight's topic: intertwined beards.
We're gonna have to release this on We're gonna have to release this on Skinamax after 10 on Saturday.
This all goes back to just To Catch a Predator a couple of weeks ago. I'm telling you.
Yeah, what you learned about To Catch a Predator? That's awesome. Chess will say nothing against Cesaro either, but I love Gabriel. This could be. I don't know. I mean, yeah, Gabriel could get the U.S. Championship, but they're not going to drop. Cesaro's not going to drop this anytime soon. So, yeah, probably Cesaro. But, Joe, you're absolutely right. It'd be awesome if they gave these guys some time because it will be a good match. All right. Divas Championship. Eve versus Layla versus Caitlyn. Okay, let's just eliminate anybody really picking Caitlyn for this, or can we just talk about Layla and Eve? Nobody?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Caitlyn. I mean, she's kind of thrown in this last minute anyway.
Well, she's somewhat the centerpiece of the storyline, and a very terrible centerpiece at that, but nonetheless, her involvement in this match is very irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly.
I was kind of drawn in, and there was a little Divas backstage segment, and they were like, I must have seen the most cleavage on WWE TV in years. Honest to God. You go back and watch that segment, and you will see serious amounts of cleavage.
Because that's what's important.
Is not a bad thing.
That
is a good thing.
I like to mention that Lee has like a protractor and an Excel spreadsheet, and he actually charts that. The amount of cleavage we get on WWE has some kind of like math factor or something. All right, so I'm picking Chet saying title for this episode should be serious amounts of cleavage. Serious amounts of cleavage and beard on beard action is what the title of the show should be.
I see what you.
I'm sure you'll attract a lot of people with that.
God damn, I love.
So this is an earthquake versus typhoon show. Huh?
Oh, that's so bad.
I see what I did there.
Yeah, you might as well throw Brodus Clay in there. You get a nice little menage a trois, you know.
He doesn't have much. He doesn't have much of a beard, though. That's the problem.
Oh, you could stick one on him. This is only going downhill. We should move on.
God, you're gonna kill
Much
me.
like Brodus Clay's beard, it's proud.
Moving on. Divas Championship. Taking what? Eve, Layla. I'm taking Eve. I think Eve's gonna keep holding this belt for a little bit longer.
I agree with you, Harrison.
Okay. Scott, you're taking Layla. You want to defend that choice?
Yeah, she's on my team.
Okay, that's fair enough.
That's as simple as that.
Good enough a reason as any. All right, so ADR versus Randy Orton. This could be. This is Randy Orton's first big pay-per-view match since he left. Before his last pay-per-view match a month ago. The shortest hiatus, really, in the history of Mankind. Why couldn't he have this hiatus when I had him in the draft last year? I don't know. Anyway, who's taking what and why? Joe, where are you standing? Okay, so Joe's taking ADR along with Garvin, but he's silent right now. Joe, you really solid with that ADR choice?
I think so. I just have this issue with Orton lately. He's pushing guys right now, which is good to see. So I want to see him. Maybe this might be ADR's last shot. So for an upper card type thing, and I think Orton could push him there.
So you're playing the law of averages card. At some point, ADR has to win something.
No, I'm saying this is his last shot.
So
If he
if he
doesn't win this, you can pretty much say he's gone in a year.
That's why I'm choosing him. He has to win sometime. This has to be it, right?
I've got to be honest. I'm thinking completely weird. He's got to win. He cannot keep losing to Randy Orton. There's got to be some way. I mean,
But it's not just Randy Orton. It's Sheamus. It's whoever they put him up against, except for like the lower carders.
See, the reason I'm picking Orton is because we've been saying this every month for God knows how long. Every time a pay-per-view comes up, we're like, well, ADR has to win sometime, right? Not this time.
Yeah,
ADR has to win sometime, right? Not this time.
Yeah.
I think we're going that way in Hell in a Cell. ADR has to win this time, right? No, he doesn't.
I'm going to be very reluctant on my pick, just because I'm not sure. I don't really see the point in Randy Orton winning. I just don't. There's literally no reason for him to win. He can lose, and he'll come out the next episode of SmackDown.
There's literally no reason for ADR to win either.
There is
not going to do anything with ADR either.
Yeah, but he needs the credibility, some form of credibility back. Whereas Orton, it's already there. Orton's just Orton. It's like Cena. He can lose, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, Lee, but the thing is, this is Orton. I mean, you could book this as Orton's comeback match, and the crowd's going to want to pop when they see him, and I think he's going to win. Yeah, it's going to suck for ADR. He might not be around anymore, but I got to see Orton, just because it gets so much heat for SmackDown, which is SmackDown needs something in the main event, and Orton's it. So this is kind of like the stepping stone to put that back into place. Chet saying they hope it's ADR, and his win gets him back in the title picture. He's criminally underrated. Also saying that Chet... God damn, I love our chat. Saying he's interested in seeing how many new ways ADR can mangle Orton's name.
Nice.
Awesome. Tag team championships. Team Hell No versus the Rhodes Scholars. All right. So, okay. How are we gonna break this one up? Rob, you know what? I want you and Joe to defend your choice of Rhodes Scholars to win. Rob, you go first.
Because Team Hell No is a gimmick that was thrown together at the last second in a desperate attempt to try to restore some credibility to a shitty tag team division. And now, as you guys have been saying, and I happen to agree with you, you've got other tag teams that are building credibility, that are building a viable tag team division in the WWE. Team Hell No does not need the championships anymore. And this would be a good time for them to drop them and maybe push Daniel Bryan and Kane onto whatever storyline they have lined up next.
Joe?
Well, I think it's a good time for them to drop it. It'll make the fact that Rhodes Scholars winning the fact that Rhodes Scholars have won this tournament to get the title shot, it would make that tournament much more valuable and much more impactful. If Rhodes Scholars do take the title, they don't have to keep the titles for very long, but for them to take it off the champions and for there to be a little more interplay between tag teams, I think it would work.
Yeah, Joe, Rob, you convinced me. I was originally going to go with Team Hell No because I still think that there's some life left between Daniel Bryan and Kane and their interplay, but yeah, I mean, Rhodes Scholars, as far as like what's going to be getting heat over the next month, I'm starting to kind of lean more towards Rhodes and Rhodes Scholars to kind of. I think they're going to be hotter than Team Hell No, which is kind of blasphemy when you think a month ago. But
well, you can also see after Stryker was like, I just don't like you guys. That it sounds like he might even help Team Rhodes Scholars get the win.
That's true too. Or maybe Team Hell No disintegrates and Kane and Daniel Bryan start going after each other. Who knows?
I still think they have another month or so to go before that happens.
Yeah, maybe.
Given that their finishing move is Kane chokeslamming Daniel Bryan on top of their opponents.
Yes,
awesome.
I still think it's gonna. I still think them as a tag team still has some legs.
How many more chokeslams do you think Daniel Bryan can put up with before he says, "Fuck this shit"?
As many as it takes to keep the wins, adding up in the column, man. I agree with Joe. I mean, I think that Team Hell No still has some life, and they don't even need the championships to keep it going. So
Yeah, that's a fair point too. Chat's saying they got Rhodes Scholars. If they win, it'll legitimize the division. They kind of want to see Rhodes Scholars win because we know that they'll be facing Botch Kara next month, and that'll suck, which is true. But Rhodes Scholars will win. Team Hell No will end by Survivor Series, ending the program with Kane and Daniel Bryan grudge match at TLC. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that a lot.
If that happens, that'll be a tables match.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a tables match. Yeah, hands down. That'd be pretty good. But here it is. This is actually I like this one a lot too. Team Hell No wins. We might actually get to see primetime players challenge for the belts and win, possibly at the next pay-per-view. But Rhodes Scholars drop it in a month. I don't know because then the tag team belt becomes kind of like the hot potato. It becomes kind of like the Divas Championship. They just bounce it between people. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going with Rhodes Scholars.
That can work if you have a strong enough division where you have enough guys who are actually viable for it.
Which is a really good point, Joe, because you kind of have that now because we have a lot of legitimately good tag teams going on right now. And who knows where it's going to be in a month.
Exactly.
Chad saying, I just want to see a Fatal 4-Way TLC tag team match. So 8 people in a TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs. What would you make that? Ladders?
No, it'd be a TLC match. It'd just be like the
straight up TLC.
We've seen the 3-team match. Why not see a 4?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I'd love to see it personally. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good point, Chad. Oh, and this is actually pretty good. Also, does anyone find it funny that the best booking WWE has been doing since August involves the Divas and the tag team? 2 divisions that people didn't care about not too long ago. Yeah, if a year ago you came to us saying that we would be most excited about the tag team division, I think we would have laughed at you.
No, I'm questioning that Divas one, though. I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, yeah.
Well,
yeah, just because they have a storyline doesn't mean that it's better booking.
Yeah, but hang on. It's not great, but look at the rest of the card.
I'm still failing to see your point.
Hey, look, I'm trying to help the chat out here, okay? I'm giving voice to the voiceless. All right, Intercontinental Championship, Kofi versus Miz in the let's cement the fact that Miz pissed off WWE creative match. Nobody is picking Miz for this one. I don't think anybody would bother picking Miz for this one. I mean, Kofi, where do you see Kofi going with this? Kofi beats Miz and just holds it for what, the next 2, 3, 4 months?
He basically has a Santino run. He just goes out, competes, and that's it. Kofi's got that glass window. I don't ever really see him getting beyond this point, really, to be honest. So this is the perfect thing for him at the moment.
I've got to agree with Scott that this is what WWE's going to plan. They're give him the IC belt, let him go out, do a little dance, wrestle a match here and there, and he's not going to get much farther. Miz, on the other hand, if he stops imitating Samoa Joe and pissing people off in the back, could get back into the world title picture.
Yeah, that's a fair point. All right, World Championship match. Sheamus defending against. Oh, I'm sorry. Chat is saying Kofi to retain the IC title. Disagree with that idea that Miz is milking this. It sounds rather dull. Another Kofi no promo run. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, the problem is Scott's kind of nailed it. I mean, Kofi is kind of running into the glass ceiling problem where it doesn't seem like he's really going further than where he is right now. So, I don't know, maybe this could possibly be his breakout. I mean, crowd seems to get a lot hotter on him now than they have in the past. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be the key that unlocks the gate to the inners of his career. I don't know. If I can torture a metaphor for a bit. World Championship match. Sheamus versus Big Show. Anybody think Sheamus is going to drop the strap to Big Show?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Sheamus is going to drop the strap to Big Show. But I think Ziggler's going to cash in and take that title right away from Big Show.
That's basically where okay, so let's just do it. Rob and Scott are not agreeing with this. They're saying that Sheamus is going to hold on to this. Weirdly, though, well, we'll get to Scott in a minute.
Well,
so,
yeah,
Rob,
hold on. I said that Sheamus would retain it, but I also put that Dolph would cash in.
Okay, so you're saying Sheamus retains, Dolph still cashes in?
Yes.
Okay.
Does Dolph walk out with the title?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. Dolph cashes in and walks out. I mean, that's the prediction.
Well, no, I mean, the prediction, you just have it listed here, does Dolph cash in? That doesn't mean he's going to win. He's cashed in and lost.
Lord. All right, fine. Does Dolph win the strap. All right. I'm taking that one. Scott's taking that one. Who else is taking that one?
I'm taking that one as well.
Joe. All right, you guys can add your names to it as you want. All right, so Rob, you're the only one right now that thinks not only does Sheamus retain the belt, but Dolph does not cash in.
Yeah, that's because I'm smart. And
That's arguable.
That's all you're giving us?
All right, Scott. I walked into that one, but Sheamus has been the WWE has shown no motivation to remove the title from Sheamus. I don't see any reason why they would do it here, and I forget who it was, but we've been talking about earlier in the show that Ziggler WWE just isn't making use of the Money in the Bank briefcase. There's not really this, will he cash it in? Will he cash it in? WWE almost seems to at times forget that he has the damn thing.
Okay.
But that's the perfect reason why he should cash it in now, because at least it would be kind of a decent surprise at this point in time. That, and if he doesn't cash it in now, it's just going to seem retarded to have him hold on to that case any longer. There's just no good reason for it at this point.
I'm not sure whether they're going to he's going to win. The more I think about it, the more I don't know if Dolph will actually win. Because if he's guaranteed to cash this in this Sunday, guaranteed, that means the two opponents are going to expect it. Which means if Sheamus wins via DQ or Big Show knocks the living hell out of him and leaves him for dead, Sheamus will then become the John Cena, recover, and probably knock Ziggler out, and then pin Ziggler after a bro kick, walk out the champion, and then Dolph loses his case.
Yeah, but then you would have both cases didn't get wins out of that pay-per-view.
That might not matter at the time.
If that happens, Dolph is done as a character. I think at that point, he's going to start hitting the glass ceiling. Because if you don't have him win the title at this point in time after as much as they pushed it, what are you going to do with him?
He could have a rematch because he's technically entitled to a rematch, I think.
No.
He could win it.
No, not with the case. No, it's one shot, one go, and then you're done. Or else Cena would have a rematch with
Punk.
Let's be honest, Cena would have like 12.
Yeah. No. I like the idea though of if Dolph doesn't get it, where's he going to go? And the only thing I think of is that he goes into a feud with Kofi for the IC belt. No, here's the thing.
No, he feuds with Zack Ryder for the Internet Championship.
Stuck on YouTube. Okay, so the only thing I could think of, I am in the camp of Big Show wins, drops the belt to Dolph, and Dolph wins. The only thing I can think of that would make this even more ridiculous is if somehow Sheamus and Big Show get knocked out, and Big Show lands on top of Sheamus, so he's pinned, but he's unconscious, wins the belt, Dolph cashes in, rolls him over, pins him, so Big Show has a title run in which he was not conscious for.
No, it'll never happen because one of the rules is that the competitor has to be standing when that bell is to ring the bell.
Oh, damn it. Okay. All right. Well, okay. All right. Never mind then. But I just thought that would be
otherwise Ziggler would have had it 3 times over already.
Not to mention Ziggler would need like a fucking forklift to move Big Show.
I just think of the crowd just watching this as Show is just passed out, and then Ziggler rolls him over, and the ref standing there with the belt on Show, and then just moves it over to Ziggler. So Show was World Heavyweight Champion, and he wasn't even awake for any of it. All right, so chat's saying Dolph will be the hero of the pay-per-view if he can cash it in and win the world title. Let's make Ziggler the least credible champion ever and cash in now. At least have him have one more feud that he comes out on top of. Ouch. Ziggler walks away with the belt. Vicky will try and protect him, but she'll piss off Booker by interfering with the world title picture, which is technically his domain, and we'll see those two carry on a feud by proxy. Maybe that's a scenario where we finally get a unified title. I don't know about that one. Man, that'd be kind of rough for. I don't know about that one. Although it is worth discussing. If this happens, if this happens next Tuesday, that's probably gonna be one of the main things that we discuss. All right, WWE Championship in a cell. As far as we're aware, it's the only match in the Hell in a Cell match at the pay-per-view. CM Punk versus Ryback. Nobody's picking Ryback to win this, right?
Honestly, I don't think this match is going to stay as it is. I think they're going to add Cena to it. You don't want to kill Ryback's streak. You don't want to kill CM Punk's streak. So the only logical thing is that you would add Cena since he's technically cleared to compete anyway, and then Punk would beat Cena.
Yeah, I was going to say this one could end in a DQ, but
yeah, good luck with that.
I don't know how they're going to end this. It's going to be so difficult. There's going to have to be something interaction. There's going to have to be Cena's going to have to be involved somehow. But
do you think Cena gets involved somehow, and Lesnar comes out, and it ends up going no contest? Like
that's the only kind of logical way. Like that, maybe Brock Lesnar they use one of Brock Lesnar's days to get to choke slam or F5 at Ryback and put CM Punk's arm over Ryback after Ryback's just knocked out CM Punk. So because then it sticks with the whole Paul Heyman guy thing.
Really, for me, this match, it isn't so much what's going to happen afterwards. It's going to be watching how they end it, because this is going to be, for me, for me watching, it's going to be a test of how good WWE creative can write themselves out of a problem. Because that's essentially what this is. This is the worst case scenario they could possibly have right now. How are they going to get out of it?
It is how they're going to get out of it. It's going to. They can't end CM Punk's reign. They can't, just because of the fact
they've been hyping it for so long.
But this is also a turning point for Ryback, because we haven't seen him in very long matches, and he can work a longer match. He's been in the WWE fold for forever. He's for a very long time,
5 or 6 years, I think.
The thing is though that Ryback losing doesn't mean his momentum is just over. It doesn't mean it's just going to click end.
But this is really going to be the step that'll push him above mid card or not, is how well he does in the match with Punk. And to me, that's the more interesting thing to look at in this match.
I
mean, the ending obviously is going to be some big clusterfuck. Let's not pull any punches.
Oh yeah.
But what if it's not? I know how daft this sounds, but what if it's not? What if CM Punk just pins him?
It's just a straight CM Punk pin win. Just beats Ryback outright.
I mean, it's doubtfully going to happen because Ryback's just beaten the living crap out of Punk, 2 weeks in a row now and stared him out.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just the way WWE treats this stuff is that it's not so much like the way WWE treats their stuff is different than TNA does. WWE treats it like politics. It's not about the event; it's about the spin. So if WWE can spin Ryback losing to CM Punk and still make sure that Ryback is, feed me more, the unstoppable machine, whatever they want to book him as, they'll do it. Because that preserves Punk's title run, preserves his, standing as a champion. I don't know. There's so much speculation in that. But for me, this is, like Joe's looking at it for the match. I'm looking at it for the booking, because I cannot think of a scenario in recent memory where WWE really had their backs against the wall as bad as they do right now.
But if it also as well, clearly they had a plan for Survivor Series. That it was going to clearly this match was going to be Cena versus Punk until this, the whole injury thing came along. So to go with Punk, to put Punk over and get Punk versus Cena at Survivor Series, which is probably the plan. How the hell does he lose? I mean, there's no way of getting in the cell technically.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you could always have Kane come rip the door off.
Yeah, you can do that. Or Ryback can rip the door off, or I don't know. If it's Brock Lesnar, if Brock Lesnar comes down, Scott, if Brock Lesnar comes down, there's that factor too. Chat's saying, okay, lots of points from the chat. They would say a flop. The only thing they can see is that Brock interferes to help Punk retain the title. Another person said somehow they both escape the cage. There's a brawl outside, possibly ends in a no contest.
Can't do no contest. You can't do it. It's a pin. It's a pin.
No contest you can do if someone just gets fucking totally injured and like paramedics come out.
But I'm trying to remember the rule. No, but a Hell in a Cell. No, I think Lee's right. A Hell in a Cell is pin or submission. That's it. That's all you get. Like you can't go to no contest.
But if somebody's arm gets ripped off, I don't think they're going to finish the match.
Okay.
That would
so
be
I think somebody needs to volunteer to have their arm ripped off.
Okay, then let's think logically.
That's extreme cases, man.
I'm
just saying. My speculation is someone will actually leave and just not come back to the ring. Like
you can't even do a no contest in Hell in a Cell. Like literally, besides that, you can't do it because you can go out. You can go anywhere.
You got close to it though when Undertaker threw Mankind off the top of the Hell in the Cell, and he went through the wooden announce table. They started to take Mick Foley out on a stretcher, and Vince McMahon and everybody was there. It looked like they were going to call the match as a no contest until Mick Foley got up and continued the match.
No.
Unconsciously.
Rob, you're actually wrong on that one. That spot was planned.
Yeah, that was
They were going to call no contest after he went through the top of the cage.
Yeah, because that wasn't planned.
Because that wasn't planned, and that's when he came back after they started taking him away. That's when he came back and finished the match.
Unconsciously. You got to put that in there, unconsciously, because if you actually hear Mick Foley talk about that, he doesn't remember anything from that.
Yeah, he doesn't remember anything after he got thrown off of the...
Yeah, the first thing he remembers is Terry Funk's shoes. No, swear to God.
And I love it
I
how
believe
when,
it.
when
I
you hear him in interviews and stuff, and he's like, and I love the part where they show me and there's like a tooth coming out, and JR is going on about how, he's like, my God, he's smiling. Mick Foley's like, no, I wasn't smiling. I was trying to breathe.
That's obsessive.
Chat's all could be a last-minute triple threat match. Ryback never loses, but Punk to retain, either that or Lesnar to run in and knock out Ryback.
There's another reason why this is not going to turn into a triple threat match. Quite simply because if this was going to be a triple threat match, they would have already told you by now, probably on the last minute about Raw. Because why would you have, John Cena is their biggest money maker. Why would you not announce that on Raw before the pay-per-view? If you actually say it on the
pay-per-view, you don't need to announce it. You don't.
You do.
You know that he's going to be there. You know he's going to be involved in the match regardless.
But
you don't need to announce it.
I think you do, because you look at the younger fans and such like that. If they're gonna buy it, they're gonna be interested in the pay per view. They want
younger fans don't know how to order pay per view.
But they're going to
younger fans order pay per view this way. Mommy, we got to order the pay per view so I can see John Cena.
Go to bed.
I'm telling you.
I heard John Cena was gonna wear blue this time.
Go away, Baton. I'm gonna buy. Just like I'm gonna buy the pay-per-view to see how they're ending that match. Yeah, me too. Well, no, because I'll be at a wedding. But okay, Cena raises.
It's the next day, dude. You can still buy it.
Well, I'm not gonna want to watch this after driving. Okay, Cena raises the cage, goes after Punk. Lesnar comes in, smacks down Cena, and then we get Punk Lesnar versus Cena Ryback tag match sometime after. That might be it. I love what Jericho said in an interview recently. Ryback wins, beats The Rock at Royal Rumble, then he ends Taker streak at WrestleMania. Ryback is WWE's next big guy. I can't imagine a more meteoric push than that. WWE has booked Punk as such a coward. There is no way Punk will get a clean win. That's probably it. What else we got here? Could Punk sneak a weapon in before the cage is lowered, or could Heyman slip something in through the cage?
Have you looked underneath the fucking ring?
Yeah, well, no,
I mean... Let's say that. There's everything under there. There's even Hornswoggle under there.
Only when they have to do it.
Uses Hornswoggle as a
weapon. Out Hornswoggle, just lobs CM Punk. I'm sorry, I was entertained by that thought.
That would be awesome.
That would get pay-per-view buys for sure.
Hornswoggle and the laptop.
Those are like a frisbee. Here's one from chat. Ryback actually throws Punk outside through the cell. Punk and Heyman just leave in a car, no contest, tons of heat going away from there. That would be interesting.
Do you take the chance of pissing people off like that, though?
No, WWE does that. They're fine with making us eat our peas.
Yeah, but that is such a piss poor ending for a pay-per-view. You really risk just burning the hell, not only just out of like the pay-per-view by itself, but you can really kill Punk on that too.
Here's how you remedy that for the show. This Hell in a Cell match is not the main event. You put the world title with the cash in at the very end.
Yeah.
Well, no,
It's got to be the main event because Cena's going to be involved.
No, Joe. No, you're wrong, man. Because they put the world title, you are guaranteed to cash in there. I think that's tipping their hand too much.
They won't do it. If you put the Hell in a Cell match, the only Hell in a Cell match on first or third or wherever you want to put it, except the main event, it's not even.
It is.
Why you even? You just wouldn't do it.
No, I do like the idea of WWE finally just flipping us the bird and saying, you want some prestige in your product? Fuck you. Garvin, I do want to ask this. Garvin asks, do we need to see blood for this match to work?
No.
What about that? No. Yeah,
really.
I don't think so. I mean, the whole
this doesn't have the fire. It's not a feud closer.
Yeah, there you go, Joe. Thank you.
You can ask that question for any match though, and the answer's going to be no, just because they don't allow it.
No, I mean you can kind of say, Joe's got a point there. If it's a really good feud closer, like you can kind of look at Beer Money and kind of say that needed to have blood. And
but you're looking at TNA. WWE have a policy now of where there's no blood. So
right. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you an example. There's a year-long feud between two guys that have a history. It makes sense for you could have blood in that match.
Makes perfect sense. It's just there's I think we've got to the point in WWE now where there's just no point in talking about blood because it's just not going to happen.
When it does, though, it's news. I mean, let's look at when Lesnar opened up Cena. I mean, that was a big deal.
Vince McMahon, no less. I mean, Vince McMahon was bleeding on that Raw.
Yeah.
But barely bleeding. And literally, it's not like intentional, proper bleeding.
But the man bled.
Yeah, but
you cynical. The man bled.
And then what did they do? They switched to another angle where they wiped him up for 10, 15 seconds.
Scott, there's a whole branch of competitors that bleed in that ring every week.
Oh, God damn it, Joe.
Christ.
Really?
Wow.
Really?
Wow. That happened. Okay.
It's been a while since I've been on, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm going to put some mouthwash in for that one. Barrett534 said, a loss to Ryback or Punk will make them lose the buzz behind their streaks. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of true. Deuce Loosely says, honestly, there's nothing much to really look forward to. The cell will be used maybe twice all night, and it'll be inconsequential. The WWE really needs to ditch this theme as long as they choose to remain PG. I don't know about that one. Before 40 said, Punk will walk out champ, not because he can thrash Ryback, but I think another Heyman guy will make a surprise appearance and take out Ryback to give him a brutal feud. We're going to wrap this up in a minute. Kyle said this match exists solely to build up a program between Ryback and, here we are, Brock Lesnar. I could actually get into a feud between Brock and Ryback. They're both big, kind of dumb-looking guys who are almost all power. Kyle obviously never planning to see these guys in public. I think that they could put 2 or 3 really entertaining matches. Probably only one, considering I think Lesnar only has really 3 left. So here we are. Does Brock Lesnar get involved? For me, I gotta say, yeah, because I mean, it makes a natural pivot. Brock Lesnar gets involved, maybe costs Ryback the match. Ryback versus Brock Lesnar at maybe TLC, if not Royal Rumble. I don't know. But yeah, I say Brock Lesnar gets involved. Anybody else?
I could see Brock Lesnar getting involved, and I also hope Kyle doesn't run into Brock Lesnar or Ryback like any time in his life.
My question would be, though, and I don't know, maybe I'm just separated from this conversation, but my question would be, if Brock Lesnar got involved, then what? What would you do with Brock Lesnar?
You would let him destroy both men because he doesn't get on with anybody, but because he's a Paul Heyman guy, he talks to Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman says, because they're together, he says put CM, or even Heyman comes in the ring and puts CM Punk's arm on Ryback, and then he retains.
But what do you do after that, though? I mean, that's the
Punk
thing.
versus Ryback, Ryback versus Lesnar.
You're not going to have Ryback versus Lesnar.
Are you telling? Wait.
So much if you do that.
You could do a survive. It would.
Wait, who are you degrading at that point, Scott? Who are you degrading?
Lesnar. You have a guy who.
Are you telling me that Lesnar's done tremendous work since coming back?
But WWE has been promoting him back. No, if you're going to be a cynical guy about it, that's fine. That's totally acceptable. But when you look at how WWE builds Lesnar, putting him against Ryback after he just faced Triple H not too long ago, you don't see that as odd?
No, Scott, you bring up a really good point, and not.
I think I. Oh, go ahead.
No. I have a problem. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense to make that pivot because they're two big guys and everything. And Scott, you bring up a really good point on that. But my question is, how do you move? I mean, how do you build that feud? We've never seen Ryback cut a promo. I mean, we don't know how he is. I mean,
okay, but let's be honest here, Harrison.
Well,
we don't want to see Lesnar cut one because he's horrible.
Well, no,
so I think
Lesnar has.
But I think
that's a moot point.
But I think that Ryback versus Lesnar, two guys just continuously just running into each other and beating the fuck out of each other. It's because Lesnar has the reputation he has of being being the next big thing, being the destroyer that he was. I think if you're going to keep Ryback around and you're planning on main eventing this guy, this is huge, and that will give him the biggest fucking push. If he's the one who can take out Lesnar.
But hang on, but if you've got the next pay-per-view coming up is Survivor Series, and about a month ago, WWE said, I know it's all advertisement, they sent out, they were going to have a 5-man versus 5-man main event. That's one way of getting around the whole issue.
You start packing people around this to kind of build it. Yeah, I mean, it's not the Ryback versus Lesnar match. I'm fine with that. It's the intervening weeks until that pay-per-view. I don't know how you build heat between these two guys, considering they really are terrible on the mic. I mean, I don't know how Ryback is.
It's all in-ring interaction. You have Ryback go out for a match and Lesnar interferes, and they just brawl to the back.
But who has been Ryback's mouthpiece so far in the last couple of weeks? It's been Cena.
Wow. Okay, so that's what you do? You have Cena push Ryback on the mic versus Heyman pushing Lesnar on the mic? Where does Punk go with that, then?
I'm not saying I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying
have Claire Lynch do it. She, since we're saying she's been hired by the WWE.
No, Lee, I mean, you have an interesting point. Continue.
But it's just if John Cena's been the one that's propping up Ryback, he's got to be some sort of mouthpiece. Ryback doesn't necessarily need to talk to get over. I personally think he does, but he doesn't need to as such. But I don't know who would. It's just hard to say how. It's hard to say how it'd come together just because they've put themselves in this such awkward situation that there's no real winner.
So what you're saying is that John Cena can be Ryback's ventriloquist. He'd have his arm up his ass and kind of, make him talk.
That's essentially what he's done.
Thank you for that disturbing visual, Scott.
Anytime.
Quick, live chat hooligans, get to Photoshop.
Yes, I want to see that. Chat is also saying Lesnar versus Goldberg 2.0. Heyman and Cena, was saying, can play mouthpieces for their guys, Heyman for Lesnar and Cena for Ryback. The only problem I have with that is where does Punk fit in that? The other thing is we got, Garvin brings up, or also from the chat, this one's a pretty good one. If Lesnar runs in, we have a potentially excellent Survivor Series match in that we have Team Heyman versus Team WWE McMahon. You would have Lesnar, Punk, and whoever else they want to get versus Cena and Ryback and whoever else they want to get, which would make for a pretty decent pay-per-view and would kind of salvage the situation that they're in.
That's one of the only things that makes sense at the minute, though. If they did that, which at Survivor Series, which is more than possible, they'd have a reason for there being a Team Heyman versus Team McMahon because McMahon didn't give him the GM job. You'd have reasons for Lesnar being on Heyman's side and Punk being on the other side. The only big massive problem about that is CM Punk's title is I think it's exactly the year to the day on Survivor Series or on Raw the day after. You've got to have a title match. You've got to have a WWE title match on pretty much that day. That's the only logical thing about that.
Well, no, that kind of makes sense because, it is. It's that Raw, right? If Punk walks out of that Raw with the belt, he beats Cena's thing, so maybe that's it. This is for whichever team wins, their captain, which would be Cena and Punk, I'd imagine. if Cena wins, he gets the title shot on the Raw afterwards. Cena...
No, you can't do that because it's Survivor Series, and that is just it'd be completely illogical to do that. But what you could do is it's for the WWE title, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah, you could do that, but then Punk wouldn't be involved in that at all, would he?
No, but Punk would be involved because he's the leader. Whichever team's leader wins the WWE title. Just a suggestion. I know it's so bad, but it gets him out of his hole. A bad hole.
You do not want to put the fate of your championship on an entire Survivor Series team.
I know you don't, but it's the only one that makes sense. It's the only thing.
No, the Paul Heyman as GM idea was a lot better than that. I think Paul, because at that point, then you can get Heyman as the GM. CM Punk can kind of use him as his little patsy at certain points. It works out for long-term storylines better.
It does, but they're not. I don't think they're going to go with that though. I just don't think they're going to go.
Well, they might not. I can agree with that for sure. But I think if you're comparing it versus CM Punk putting the title on the line at Survivor Series versus Heyman's possible GM-ship.
That's what I'm saying. It might that's because I'm saying that the reason that it would be Team McMahon versus Team Heyman would be because Heyman didn't get the GM job because that he proposed to Vince, and the reason that the title is on the line is because that Heyman pissed Vicky off and constantly bugged her, maybe.
Okay. All right. Well,
That's
anyway,
fair.
this is all speculation we can do next week.
It's so hard.
Okay, so Brock Lesnar getting involved. We got Garvin, myself, and Joe. Who else is saying that Brock Lesnar's going to be in this match?
I think he's kind of got to be. I'm not really sure how else they're going to play this.
Lee.
Yeah, I'll say Lesnar has to get involved somehow.
Okay, Scott, you with us too?
No, I still think that I still think they're going to add Cena on the match, and that's how they get out of this.
I just can't see him adding Cena at the last minute. I think they've just lost so many.
They've already teased it. I mean, they basically talked about how he's technically medically cleared, but there's somebody that's holding him aside. I mean, they teased it. It's totally there. They could do it, and it would make logical sense.
But why then pull the AJ storyline with him? Why not just involving him in the main event?
Well,
I can't believe
I
this.
can't answer that.
It's just why not? Why not just add him against just say then Cena can say to Ryback at the end of the Raw, oh, and by the way, I've been added to the match.
Inside AJ. That's how that whole thing came to be. I don't freaking know. I think AJ is completely irrelevant when it comes to this match itself. I think there's going to be a long-term storyline when it comes to that. But as far as Hell in a Cell, they don't need to even pull AJ into the storyline to bring him in the match.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So why bring Cena into the AJ storyline if he's not going to be in the match?
Because there's going to be long-term effects of that. They'll bring that in after the match has been done. Because obviously it would be too stupid to really get into a storyline at this point in time with that. But you can do it directly after Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
I was going to say,
guys. Guys, I'm sorry. We have to move on. It's 10:15. We got to move on. Great discussion. We'll look forward to talking about it more on next week because then we're going to have the fallout and all these questions that we're speculating will be answered. All right.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win.
You do any job,
And fail
is to fucking get paid!
of the week.
It is now time for Win Fail. We're going to dive right into this. Your win of the week, go Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, your win of the week, go Rob.
My win of the week is going to be God damn. I'm going to stick with shit. I've got no idea.
Your win of the week, go Lee.
I'm not. I don't have a win of the week because there's been nothing in wrestling this week has been so bad. Honestly, it's been awful.
I got this.
Your win of the week goes Scott. Scott, save the show, Scott. Save the show.
Tony Schiavone references on the show tonight. That's my win of the week.
Bam.
You're welcome.
Scott, money. Awesome. All right, let's circle back around here. Joe, you got a win of the week?
I thought you were just cutting me off, but I was muted. I was saying that I'm going to be totally self-serving, but my win of the week is the fact that I'm getting married on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a good win.
Okay, all right. Rob, you got a win yet?
Yeah, my win of the week is going to be... I just had it.
Liar!
Oh, my win of the week is Bully Ray finally getting a nod or a chance for the world title. He's long overdue to get elevated, and I'm excited. Even though he's not going to win the damn title, I'm glad that he's finally getting taken seriously in that role.
Well, I mean, Bound for Glory series, but yeah, that's a good point. Lee, you got a win yet?
I'm not giving a wing. There's been nothing in this week that has been.
So really, you're going to stick with that?
I'm sticking. There has been nothing this week that has been remotely good.
Fine. All right. Chat's win of the week, Ziggler with extra flopping. Dolph versus Daniel being an awesome match. Booker T, yeah, that was an awesome match. I want to give it a quick hat tip. We didn't talk about it in the Raw review, but yeah, that was fantastic. Booker T being at the Texans game and being honored there. AJ nearly starting an impromptu bra and panties match. My win is a comment from the chat saying that if only we had a hybrid of Kofi and The Miz, Kofi's in-ring abilities and Miz's mic skills, we'd call him Kofi Mizden.
Or I like the Kof, but
yeah, the Kof. That's like the Hoff. That'd be the Kof. Yeah, that for some reason that really made me laugh. All right, fails.
Wait. I have a win.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's up, buddy?
You guys having sexual fantasies about my beard.
And another beard.
That never really happened.
Damn, that was going to be my fail.
It's not sexual. It is loving and beautiful. It is fucking nature, is what it is. It's like flamingos doing it at a sunset on the beach.
Natural. There's nothing natural about beard on beard
action.
My
ass, Scott, you would totally see that on National Geographic. That shit would be all over the BBC in high def.
Man, Ohio's programming is fucked up.
Bearded planet.
Oh
Bearded planet. It would be just 2 hours of these two rubbing faces in high def. All right, fails of the week. Joe, your fail. Go.
Jumping off that impromptu bra and panties match, the fact that AJ was starting it with Vicky Guerrero is probably the fail of the week. Nobody needs to see her man gams.
All right, Rob, your fail of the week.
God, another great visual. Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome, Rob.
My fail of the week is not only Hardy winning the world title, but bringing back the stupid custom design belts. That hurts TNA so much. Just no.
All right, Lee, your fail of the week.
I have a lot of fails. I've written them all down. I've had to keep up. I've got beard on beard action. The general podcast this week. America, the presidential debate. The NFL because it's crap. Wrestling because nothing good's happened this week.
Heel promo.
I'm genuinely having a CM Punk moment here. There is nothing.
No, you're just being a stupid internet troll. That's all you are.
I'm not even being an internet troll. I am genuinely disappointed with the world this week, especially America.
Well,
especially America. I'm disappointed with every single person in America.
Look at it. He's cutting an old school heel promo. Look at him go. Talking about us. I hate your food.
I'm even more disappointed that I had to watch two brawls in the same program and a lumberjack match that never even got going.
All right, Scott, your fail. Go, buddy.
My fail is Lee comparing himself to CM Punk's pipe.
Come on. My pipe a lot better than his. For the simple reasoning being that I am better than CM Punk, and I am better than everyone.
You're better at something than CM Punk. I believe that. Anyway, my actual fail. My actual fail is the storyline with AJ right now, mainly because of the fact that it's just so inconsistent with many of WWE's storylines from the past. And I know, typical WWE fans' attention span is 2 weeks, but still, it's just. It's incredibly inconsistent to the point where I want to punch my TV.
Okay, Garv, you got a fail?
Yes, my fail is the fact that TNA is still not giving any TV time to the X Division.
Yes.
Also, where is Kenny King?
True.
Yeah.
Dancing at a Chippendales outside of Las Vegas.
But I can't get any points for that.
Oh,
Is
He'll
he
give you a
seriously
point,
doing
all
that?
right.
No, I'm just
I see what
I'm
you're
just assuming because they made a big deal that was his former place of employment before getting
Right.
into wrestling.
Yeah,
But-
okay. I didn't know if he
Where the
actually
hell-
went back to that.
Where the hell is everyone from OVW that was sent down there?
Still in OVW, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah. Chat saying, well, first off, chat wants to point out to tell Lee to stop lying. We all have had sexual fantasies about Garvin's beard. Chat saying the Jeff Hardy title, Raw in general, wrestling as a whole, that's kind of harsh. Another lumberjack match for WWE. SmackDown main event was better than, which is a fail, I guess, on Raw. My fail is how two men on the show cannot appreciate the visual poetry of Daniel Bryan and Garvin. Beards. Doing what beards do best, and that is make sweet beardy love. And the fact that
Could you add in Sandow for a three-way?
Oh,
What the fuck is wrong with everybody tonight?
oh my God!
That is
So I'm describing
disgraceful.
something amazing, and you go and make it crass by bringing in a menage a trois. Ugh, Joe.
Hey,
Ugh.
everyone's got to have goals.
Can you throw Eric Young and Mike Knox in there?
God, it's a beard orgy.
I was waiting for Eric Young to be brought into this.
Orgy.
I'm surprised you haven't thrown up. What's that guy called? It wasn't my fault.
Oh,
Snitsky.
Yeah.
Snitsky.
God. Somewhere there's a baby getting field gold.
Smelling like feet.
And that is it. That is the show. Why not check out ftwpodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future and how to enjoy more sweet, sweet beardy love. And there's even a support tab where you can go ahead and donate, buy merch, as well as links to us on iTunes and Stitcher where you can rate us. We expect no less than 4 stars. Yeah, we expect no less than 4 stars. You can also check out our forum, ftwpodcast.com/talk. Definitely check it out. Let us know what you think. It's in beta mode. Real quick, Scott, if you want to give a quick plug, go right ahead.
You can quickly find me on Twitter at Scott Viper, VYPER. And, of course, I do a podcast about Steam gaming at www.latenightsteamer.com.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, wait a second. Late Night Steamer is okay, but two beards doing what they do, beard cocky. Oh, my God.
You said it.
Ow.
Live
What?
chat
Wow.
delivers.
Oh
Beard
my
cocky.
god.
Damn. Oh, we are out. Drop the mic. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. We record every FTW podcast episode on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. British Mean Time at FTWLive.com. And there ain't a damn thing we can do to beat beard hockey. Live chat.
This stuff.
Damn.
Noble truck.
This
Woo!
stuff does not happen in England. I swear down.
Oh, that's BS.
I swear down.
Most of
We
this
are normal.
originated in England, you lying sack of... Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Swear
You
down
lie.
on my life
You
that
lie.
this is all American.
Europe is like where the majority of this generates from. We bring that from you guys, okay?
No. You need to eliminate Europe.
Amsterdam, Lee.
I will answer it. It's from Germany, not America.
Hey!
Germany.
Alright,
Germany.
double fuck you, Lee.
Hey, well, it's got to travel from Germany to the UK before it comes back to us, okay? So you were part of that succession. Don't lie. Don't lie.
I don't need to lie.
Don't
We're
lie.
not.
You're
I
lying.
don't need to know.
Stop
I don't
lying.
need to. I don't need to
Stop
know.
lying,
I don't need
Lee.
to know.
Stop
I don't
lying.
need.